Welcome everybody to session 1 of our new The Rise of Tiamat campaign. This campaign has been going on for quite some time now. We started off in Dragon of Icespire Peak, got through all of that content with the group having defeated Cryovane the White Dragon, and then we had the group head over to an exotic island a ways away from the Sword Coast to do some intermediate adventures we called the Bottomless Dungeon, in this sort of magical complex that has the ability to show you simulations of previous adventures, and our group has gone through that as well. Unfortunately, we had a lot of character deaths along the way, so we're hoping that now we're into Rise of Tiamat, maybe it will stabilize a bit here, and this core 4 group of players will be able to continue pushing through. So yeah, players, we will do a very brief recap, just as most of the events from the past won't necessarily apply directly to this. But I think as far as high-level stuff, just to prep your minds for how this campaign is going to begin, you will recall that you were in the island over in this city known as Sobo Taishu. And in that location, you were participating in the Bottomless Dungeon experience and had recently just been pulled away from the Bottomless Dungeon by this leader of, or I guess I should say he's sort of like right-hand man, you might think of it as, to the Shogun in the area. His name is Kisho, and Kisho had pulled you away and brought you before the Shogun in a very formal, elaborate type of room. And there was some conversation back and forth between the Shogun and Kisho then explaining all of this information to you. Essentially, what they were looking for is they let you know that a letter had arrived addressed to some of the characters in the group. Primarily, this was Gale and Kurtu, as the two of them have survived for quite some time since the events in the Sword Coast. And this letter also had some other individuals named as well, looking for these individuals to make their way over to Waterdeep. So think of this as a royal, or maybe not royal, but a formal summons, you might think of it as, requesting the presence of this group. And this information wasn't really shared with the group, as Kisho indicated the letter had arrived, but Kisho and the Shogun and his whole clan had some suspicions, unfortunately, that the group might be involved in an ongoing rebellion that was taking place over in Sobo Taishu. There was apparently a rebel lord that was putting together some support and getting agents and essentially taking actions against the Shogun. And it turned out that, at least according to them, Marlon St. Reed, who is the individual that hired our player characters to make the trek over to the Bottomless Dungeon, is associated with that rebel lord. Kisho explained to our player characters that Marlon St. Reed was no longer a problem, whatever exactly that means, but indicated in order to prove that the group was not in any way attached to this rebellion and that they could be trusted by the Shogun, they requested our player characters take on some work for them, primarily heading into the city proper and trying to get to the bottom of these disappearances of some folks. So our team did a few of that discussions. They spent some time speaking with Alexander at the Bottomless Dungeon, converting some of their hard fought items and into more permanent varieties, and then had some conversation with Kisho, this whole event that went down. But then once they were in the streets of the city there, Sobo Taishu, they did indeed realize that there were some folks going missing, and it seemed as though there was some type of cult activity going on here. The opponents were spellcasters and also seemed to have something a little bit strange going on with them. After our player characters defeated some of these cultists and saved a woman before she could be dragged away, they were able to provide this information to the authorities, and this was sufficient enough for Kisho to realize that obviously if the player characters fought against the cultists, they were certainly not in league with the cultists. So with this information underway and handed over to the Shogun and his men, the Kisho explained to the group that he was going to be accompanying the group as they are responding to this summons back in Waterdeep. So with this information in hand, a ship was procured and the group set off on this long journey back to Waterdeep. So team, is there anything in particular you want to make sure we get listed here in the recap to keep fresh in anybody's minds? Okay.
Yeah, just real quick. Just remember that the guy that we were working with ended up being the cult leader, so let's not fall for that trick. You know what I mean? In this upcoming module, let's be fresh on our toes. We got this.
That is true. Yes, Tarek, he was indeed associated with the cult. So, yeah, our group narrowly avoided some unpleasantness due to that association. So, yes, group, you find yourself on the ship. You guys have traveled across the water for several days, probably altogether more like a week and a half. The journey here is pretty quiet. There's not a whole lot going on. The seas are mostly calm. You can see a lot of, birds occasionally overhead as you get closer to shore. During the day-to-day activities, you can think of doing some fishing. There's a lot of crew members kind of walking about, swabbing the deck, checking the rigging, making sure everything's good to go. All of this information is kind of a daze to you all, as the days have just rolled by one after the other. You guys have been eating a lot of fish. By the time you start to spot Waterdeep off in the distance and truly begin to pull up towards it, getting close to the dock, it probably comes as a very welcome relief. So that is where our campaign will start here, folks, as we find ourselves on the docks of Waterdeep.
I cannot believe that we have a fresh start. This is so exciting. The big city, things to do. I want to listen to music. Maybe have another drink. Are you okay, Kurtu?
I
He ate
don't
too much
really.
fish.
I like the fish, but I don't really like the water as much. I'm just glad to be on solid ground now. This is better.
I could use some alcohol, personally.
What do we have to celebrate? We escaped with our lives. We were not indicted, so things are going very well here, and I'm really looking forward to what this day has to offer.
I'm really looking forward to your positive attitude. This is wonderful. We should continue. Spectre, you can stay quiet, of course. But, yeah.
All right, as the group steps off of the ship and begins to converse with one another and just starts looking around at the marvels that is the city of Waterdeep, one of the most populated cities here on the Sword Coast and home to some famous individuals and many stories all related to Waterdeep, of course, might be fresh in all of your heads. You notice that Keisho steps off of the deck of the ship as well, seemingly in fairly decent spirits. He seemed to handle the ship travel quite well. During all of these days that you guys were on the ship, you notice he mainly kept to himself, seemingly to prefer to stay below decks. He would be often found down there drinking a cup of tea or reading at some of the various books that he has brought with him in a satchel at his side. He seemed to not really engage in conversation with anybody unless they spoke with him first, and then he would speak as briefly as necessary before moving on. As he steps off, you notice he will kind of just scan and look at toward all of you, and then he raises his head and looks over in the distance. And as you sort of follow his gaze momentarily, you can spot what looks like probably the castle here in Waterdeep, what you assume to be where the rulers of Waterdeep make their stay.
Yeah, I have been racking my brain. Where did we start with? I don't think we've ever been here, right?
You have never been to Waterdeep. No, not through this campaign, anyhow. You guys started off in Fandelver over for the Dragon of Icespire Peak. So, yes, this is much further. So, yeah, it's probably a good idea. Just a quick, just FYI of where everything is, an approximation to one another. And just so happens that we have this handy dandy map, but it's not the one I'm familiar with, so I'll just have to probably high level spitball it here. So this is our Sword Coast map. So as you can see, I'll get rid of Keisha there. So as you can see, Waterdeep is much further up the coast of the Sword Coast than where you guys originally started. So Fandelver, I know, is southeast of that, and the exact location escapes me at the moment, but I know Waterdeep was far northwest of Fandelver.
I think these are the hills, right, of Fandelver?
Let's see.
You were
Let's
like
zoom in there.
here, I think.
Yeah, it's close towards that area.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Big ass fucking forest to the north.
Yeah, George.
Neverwinter Woods, yeah. And then so I think Waterdeep should be along the coast somewhere.
It should be up here, I'm thinking.
Josephine was from Waterdeep, but
I don't think it's that high up.
Oh, that's Luskin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right. So for whatever reason, they didn't necessarily reveal the locations to everybody. So let me do the high level ones that you guys would know of at least.
Sea of Swords.
Ah, nice.
And there is Waterdeep.
Nice. So Adam, when we, just for our knowledge, when we came in, did we sail in from this way or was it this way?
Pretty much straight west is the way you arrived. As you will recall, when you left Phandelver, or those of you that were on that journey, I should say, this may be important for you to keep in mind. When you left Phandelver and were heading to the west, you guys had a much shorter journey that direction, as it turned out that you guys, nobody really noticed it at the time, but you guys had gone through some kind of a magical transportation in order to get over to Sobotaishu area much quicker than on the way back. So yes, you remember that the journey there was like a day and a half, but the journey back was like 10 days.
Oh, I remember the magic stuff because we went through that portal in those creatures. Oh my gosh, this was such a much better trip coming back to land than it was getting there. Things are looking up already.
Yes. Okay. Now taking a double look at this, I'm pretty sure, let me reveal a little bit more since you guys know, and again, the main cities and things I'm sure your characters would be familiar with because of how famous they are. So I'll go ahead and reveal Neverwinter on this map. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, Phandelver is southeast of Neverwinter. So I seem to recall that all of your activities took place right about here. So you guys were in this area roughly, because I remember where the road splits, the high road here, that was the map on our Phandelver map. So yes, I'm pretty sure Phandelver's right in this area.
Oh,
That
yeah,
makes
that makes
sense.
sense. Yeah.
Neverwinter Wood
yeah.
being here, yeah.
The Tribord Trail goes this way.
So we're a lot further south than where the original Dragon of Aspire Peak took place.
Correct.
Cool, that was worth the effort.
Yes. No, I kind of like how they hid everything here so you can reveal it one at a time. But yeah, probably some of the more popular ones, they might have just started with that visible because, yeah, you guys would probably know a lot of that stuff. All right, getting us back over to our City of Waterdeep map. So as you guys have arrived and you notice Keisho sort of looking in that direction, he doesn't say anything, but he looks back at you and lowers his gaze towards you. And once again, you get this sort of impression of somebody who's very much driven and focused. And he's indicating in a nonverbal way that he is ready to go.
Oh, Adam, should we long rest or just give us our stuff or what?
Yeah, I can apply that before anything comes up.
You never know, Kurtu may, fireball somebody.
Could happen.
I may
Diplomatic
need
incident
some.
incoming.
All right, long rest coming through now. This would be a good chance to make sure all the scripts are working too. Hey, there we go. All right, so as Keisho indicates that he is essentially ready to go, you'll notice he sort of waits for you for a moment. If nobody reacts, he essentially just starts walking over in that direction.
I guess we take care of business and then we drink, yeah?
So Keisho, what should we expect when we go there? This looks like it's pretty fancy.
You see he stops just momentarily, or perhaps slows his pace a bit as he looks towards you and says, "I am new here. This is not for me to say."
Should I put a shirt on?
He glances at you, Rasmus, for just a moment, and then just keeps walking.
Always had the idea. You look around your area, right? If everyone else is wearing clothes, you probably should too.
They get in my way though.
Oh,
Well-
I would say I'm not saying wear like stretchy pants or parachute pants. I'm just saying maybe a robe.
I have those robes from those cultists.
No, we're gonna go shopping for you. That's what we're gonna do later.
Okay.
Hey, Rasmus, you just do what you need to do, okay? Just whatever you feel comfortable in is what's really most important, all right?
Yeah. Okay. We're like at a beach town though, so I feel like, we're just in the wrong part. There's probably shirtless people somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's true. You should, I don't know. You just do you, voulez-vous.
You get all sorts in Waterdeep.
And yes,
All
that
right.
is very much apparent to you all as you're moving through. As you see, there is a great diversity of the folks here all around this area, walking down the roads, people poking their heads in and out of shops. The area that you were recently in, Sobotaishu, is much more culturally uniform. Here, there's just a great diversity of folks of all different stripes and shades and colors. And yes, it's just almost overwhelming if you've never been in a large city like this. As you guys are slowly making your way down the road, a sudden shift in the wind brings with it a strange sense of unease. The feeling is akin to the drop in air pressure before the approach of a deadly storm, or faint tremors felt from a landslide or earthquake far away. You're not the only ones who have noticed. The city around you goes unnaturally quiet suddenly. No dogs bark, no birds squawk, even the street vendors have gone silent.
What? Get out of the street. I'm going to, move off the road and close to a building. What's that? I'm going to get off the road, get close to a building and look up in the sky.
Okay, yes, you'll notice Keisho kind of pauses as well and just looks around, and you notice he actually kneels down and puts his hand on the ground as though he's feeling the ground itself, and then he just raises and looks back towards you all.
Well, what did you feel?
As he narrows his eyes and begins to speak, you realize this silence has ended as quickly as it begun. Everyone seemingly, obviously this was very strange, they almost very quickly go back to what they were doing. People who were just kind of walking down the street had paused or just come to a stop momentarily. They suddenly pick up, continue walking. Those by the doors that again had sort of paused as they were looking in or out, once again they just kind of resume what they're doing. It's only a handful of people that are sort of still looking around like, this is strange, what's going on? Everybody else seemingly has returned to their normal activities.
And they don't look like they've noticed anything at all?
They clearly did notice something, much like you all did. So you notice them sort of walking like they paused. So you don't get the sense that this was like a freeze in time or anything like that. It's almost as though everybody felt this same, whatever this was, and was very curious. They're like, what in the world is that? But after it kind of just goes away that quickly, they just shake it off and continue going about their day. There is a few people, as mentioned, that are still kind of looking around. You might see a couple people in groups kind of chatting with one another, like, what was that? But yeah, it's kind of seems like it's just some kind of blip, something strange.
Did the animals go back to making noise? All the birds and the dogs and stuff, did they also continue?
Yes, everything has seemingly resumed to exactly how it was before this occurrence.
Yeah. Where I lived before, it wasn't uncommon for the earth to shift sometimes, so that's probably all it was.
It seems the animals are not scared or retreating, so I think we're okay to continue, but yeah, that was odd.
How do we know it's odd? This is our first time in Waterdeep. Maybe it happens all the time.
This is
my
true.
knowledge.
Are you from Waterdeep, Spectre?
I don't know, but I've been here before.
I don't remember.
I made my backstory, but it only goes back 2 years, right?
My backstory goes back 10 years, but I forgot everything after a certain point.
Maybe we crack open that nut with a bottle of wine or something, because that seems like some maybe dad issues, maybe mom issues.
You notice Keisho looks back towards you all now and says, "You will not embarrass me in this new place. We have been asked to attend. You will come." And he once again begins walking in that direction.
Yeah, of course we're coming, Keisha. Have we ever offended you yet?
Apparently.
He does
Imagine that
not
story.
reply to you, seemingly thinking that your question is not even worth an explanation, as he continues moving at a fairly good pace for an older man.
I will.
Kurtu
Come on, keep up, Rasmus. Come on.
Kurtu grabs onto his little wand thing. He goes,
Oh, I'm so glad I found my wand. I wasn't sure if it was hiding up his. Yeah, let's go.
All right, you continue moving through the city here, and there's just a feast for the eyes everywhere you can see. You can see there are actually some performers in the streets, some jugglers. Occasionally you can see storytellers with their feet kicked up on barrels and small little groups of people gathered around them in a gaggle. And you can see that there's a bunch of different peddlers trying to sell things. And just there's so much life and activity here compared to many of the other places that you guys have been in your journey. Again, very much overwhelming. Kisho seems to ignore almost all of this, continually to move on. Are you all sticking close to him, or are you holding back to engage in maybe some of these interesting bits on the sides?
I'm gonna keep up because although this day has lots of potential, I'm still trying to focus on business.
Is there any like live music or dancing going on?
You don't see dancing, but yes, you do occasionally see somebody playing like a violin type instrument. You can see a couple people have turned over barrels, and they're playing it sort of like drums in different areas. It's very lively.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Rasmus will just begin to wander in that direction as he lights his little pipe and starts taking some puffs from it.
Okay, rest of the group. So Spectre, Gale, and Kurtu, as you're following behind Kisho quickly as he's moving at a pretty good pace, you notice as you're glancing around trying to just take in all these sights that Erasmus has started to wander off.
Hey, Rasmus, where are you going? Come on, we could party later. Let's go.
There's music. These guys probably work for tips.
Yeah, but we're being called to the high priest here or something, and we probably shouldn't leave him waiting for us.
But if they're waiting on us, then why does it matter if we're a little bit later than now?
Rasmus, get over here. You quit dawdling, as Leroy would say.
I call him, don't speak to me like that, like you're my mother in Elvish.
Well, you're acting like a child, so you're gonna have to have some correction.
Yeah, well, there's drums and people singing.
And Gale, you realize now as you've stopped to get Erasmus that Kisho has continued on and you've lost him in the crowd. Spectre, Kurtu, did you continue following Kisho or stay behind with Gale as he tried to wrangle Erasmus?
I fucking ignored the satyr wandering off. I'm all business.
Okay, so Spectre's with Kisho.
yeah, and I'm with Spectre. So
Okay,
It's all
so absolutely. All right, so Gale and Rasmus. Gale, you notice this probably moments after as you're trying to wrangle Rasmus, and Rasmus is more towards the music. You notice that, Kisho and your friends Spectre and Kurtu are nowhere in sight through this massive crowd.
To be fair, we're going to the castle, I presume, so
Yeah.
kind
yeah.
of hard to miss.
Hey, Rasmus, we need to focus, man. You're new here. You have to keep up with the group. We're not supposed to split the party. Everyone knows that.
Okay, but look, we're in a new place. Kisho has always been all business. Even when we were like freaking riding a boat, he was like, row, row, row. Like, it's just like you can only go as fast as the wind takes you. And look, we could make a friend.
No. Okay, you know what? You do you, boo. Voulez-vous? I'm out. Adam, I'm gonna try to rush up to catch up with the same direction they're at.
All right, first blind check of the campaign. Feel free to drag your token just anywhere on this map here and give me a blind check.
inspiration.
Let's see. Oh wait, let me hit the selector.
Yeah, the crowd is just very large here, Gale, and you're wondering, you think, okay, it was that way. You remember the general area they went because of all these buildings. Your view of where the castle is isn't always perfect. You don't always have a full, clear view to it. So you're kind of dipping in different areas, looking around, and realizing you're getting turned around pretty quickly here. I'm going to ask you to give me another blind check here, Gale.
Can I say that as I saw him turn to go and leave, that I would have pursued him also because I see he's getting frustrated and he doesn't want to listen to music like I do.
I would say you're probably in touch with this music for a little bit as he steps away, and then after maybe like 10 seconds or so, it's sort of like, yeah, you probably should stick with him. And you start making your way back there, looking for Gale, and you eventually spot him. But unfortunately, Gale, once you notice Rasmus there, you realize you're a bit turned around. You also realized that you've been pickpocketed here now, Gale, as you're in this throng of people kind of poking around and bumped in here a little bit as you dip all these different places. You realize that a small amount of coin has been taken from your pouch. Go ahead and roll a d20, please. All right, 16 silver pieces, if you have that. Otherwise, it would be 16 gold, has been liberated from your pouch.
I have 7 silver.
Okay, so if that is that, do you have any copper or anything on you?
I have 7 silver and 487 gold, so they probably would have got more gold. I'll just take it from the gold.
Okay, yeah, that'll probably be easier.
You just made a new friend.
And as you're realizing this, Gale, getting bumped around, what is going on here? You notice Rasmus kind of pops in through the crowd. He kind of sticks out, obviously, with his horns. So there's, quite a bit of different diverse people here. But even with that diversity, a satyr is probably fairly exotic for everybody else around here. So yeah, you see him kind of spot you, and you both lock eyes as this recognition dawns on you.
Rasmus, now we're lost. Do you
We
know
are
where to
not.
go?
You are lost. I am not lost. You are lost.
Well, then lead the way. Hurry up. We're losing our friends.
Hang on, man. Hang on. Look. Excuse me, sir. Oh, I should switch back. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
So you begin pushing through the crowd, I assume, Rasmus, or are you trying to get somebody's attention?
Just trying to get. I'm looking for somebody well dressed, right? Who looks like they may know their way around the city and try to get their attention. Just ask questions.
Okay, yes, and as you're asking this question, you notice most people are kind of just getting out of your way, or they shake their head no as you're trying to ask them a question. Many of them just sort of ignore you. You get the impression that based on just the number of people that are here, there's always going to be, beggars and that kind of thing, and maybe this is what they're thinking you are. But as you turn and you keep asking this question, you realize now you're face to face with one of the city guard, and you see he kind of just looks down at you, conical helmet on. He's holding onto a spear and a shield in his hand, has this kind of relaxed posture, and you see he gives kind of a little bit of a grin. Well, I'll be. I don't think I've ever seen one of your kind here. Satyr, right?
Yup, I'm a satyr. Do you work for the city?
You see he looks down at his garb, which clearly has the symbol of Waterdeep, like sort of emblazoned right on his chest, and looks back at you and says, you're a quick study? Yes.
My friend and I got distracted. I got distracted, and we ended up getting separated from our friends, but we're supposed to go to talk with what was it, Gale?
It was the if I were try to remember, Brian knows it's the Black Staff. Maybe?
Yeah, we're looking for somebody fancy. Probably, I don't know, do you have a king or queen or like council that we got summoned and we got split up?
You notice he now turns his eyes towards you, Gale, and you have this thought of like you wonder what's going through his mind as he notices both a satyr and a ladrin here seemingly lost in the great city of Waterdeep. And you notice he's kind of sort of shakes his head a little bit for a moment, bites at his fingernail, and then says, you know what? Let me, yes, follow me. I'll take you where you need to go.
Cool.
Hey,
Huh.
can we trust him?
Yes, he works here. Hey, what's your name?
Brent.
Hey, Adam, can I see if I feel like he's trying to deceive us in any way, or
You've kind of
Not
just
lead us.
met him, so unless you want to spend some time chatting with him here, you could do that and then see if you could get an insight check in.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good idea. We should talk to him.
Hey, Brent. I'm Rasmus, and this is Gale.
Hello, how are you? A nice day we're having.
And you see he looks back towards you here, Gale. And he's like, Gale, really?
Yes, my my name is Gale Fuseflaw. I am from the Feywild here, just enjoying your world.
Huh.
He says that very kindly. He's modest. He killed a dragon, or fought a dragon, and he's a champion. What's the place called that you're a champion of again?
Pretty much the best place.
What's the name of it?
Well, we were in Fandelver when we had that fight with one of the dragons that was harassing the peoples there. That's me.
Pretty cool, right, Brent?
You don't look like a Gale, I have to say. But, well, it sounds like you've got a bit of history behind you. Yes, but nonetheless, follow me. I'll take you where you need to go.
And is he walking in a direction that we would assume? He didn't turn us around, did he? Or
Well, you're kind of already turned around. I would say he's leading you down a much less traveled thoroughfare. So, not exactly an alley, but it's much less populated. And he starts taking you through, like, you might think of this as a side route.
So, Brent, got a family?
And you see he looks back as he's walking forward. He says, It's Brent's. And yes, I do have a family, but no need. We will be there very quickly. We won't have time to get into all those kind of details.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. You're a very nice guy.
is there any chance that now I could try to see if he's going to lead us astray?
Sure, you can make a blind check at this point.
Can I assist in any way? Because I'm trying to...
You can make your own blind check if you like.
Sure.
It's hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tag team an insight check.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
Do I
you're
need to drag
blind.
my token?
Yes. Yep. Go ahead and drag your token. Just drop it anywhere on the map.
Sorry, Jordan. What were you saying?
I was just memeing.
Yeah, I would say neither of you get any kind of impression that there's anything else than what Brent has told you about here.
See? Nice guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
All right, he continues walking forward, and you're realizing there's less and less people on the street here. As he makes another turn and you turn to follow him, you notice right in front of you all of a sudden is, and then we move over to our other two-player characters who are following Kisho. And as you are following along, guys, you notice Kisho moves up to this fairly large building, and he keeps looking down at this kind of paperwork that he's trying to reference, right? Like, perhaps there's writing here or there's some type of illustration, but you notice he keeps doing this, and eventually he points once again with his head towards this building and walks right in that direction and just sort of opens the door to this fairly elaborate looking building and enters.
I'm right behind him.
I'm going to, of course.
All right, Spectre and Kurtu, as you enter into this large building, it seems to be some kind of bureaucracy type thing. You can see this is like a government kind of building. So as you enter, you notice that there's a lot of folks around, mostly looking to be like note takers, message runners, that kind of thing. And you see he steps up towards this counter area and hands over a piece of paper to this woman who's acting as a receptionist of some kind. And you notice she kind of reads it over briefly, looks back up, and motions with him over to an area where you see there's some seats here. It almost looks like a little waiting area. And you see he goes and he just takes a seat there.
Did we, like, physically receive any kind of summons, or were we just told by the shogun that?
You were told that they received a summons on your behalf, and that once they knew they could trust you, they were going to release this information to you. But so far, it seems as though Kisho has kept this documentation close to himself.
Okay. Does it look like the receptionist or whatever is expecting us to follow him?
So far, not necessarily. She's, kind of just glancing around, helping different people that walk up to her desk, that kind of thing. If you end up standing there for just, kind of out in the open for a while, she might just look up like, yeah, can I help you kind of thing?
In that case, if she's not paying any attention to us, I'll just follow the guy.
All right, so you just go and take a seat by Kisho then, and Kurtu, I assume you do the same?
Yes, I do.
Okay, excellent. So you guys sit there for maybe 5 minutes or so before you notice a woman opens this door that's kind of in the back area here and starts making her way out. As she does, you see she walks up to the counter or the desk where the receptionist is. The two of them share a brief conversation, and you notice the receptionist points over in your direction. And you see this woman now sort of looks over towards you all and has a look on her face that seemingly is one of determination, perhaps, maybe a little bit questioning. And you notice she steps forward, and as she does, you see Kisho stands up and gives a little head bow, and you see she has this soft smile, and she says, "Oh, well, it is good to see you. You must be Kisho, and this isn't all of your team, is it?" And you see he looks back towards the door as though this is perhaps the first time he's realizing not all of you are with him.
I think some of our friends got lost in all the traffic. I mean, there are a lot of people around here. We're not used to such a big and lovely city.
What a shame.
Well, I don't think that bodes well for our future conversations, but and back to our two who are following the guard. As you turn this corner, you spot the entrance to this castle, and you notice the guard steps up and kind of points towards the door and says, "That must be what you're looking for right there. Step on in. One of them in there can help."
Thanks, Prince.
He gives you a nod as he kind of like starts whistling as he walks away. And as the two of you make your way through this door, you run right back into your companions, and you all now notice this woman who is standing there talking with the two of them as you guys kind of sidle up next to your companions. And you see she kind of gives the two of you a little bit of maybe a mild disapproving look as she sees you enter. And then she says, "Please follow me. I am Dala Silmerhelv, by the way." And you see
Solid. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for showing us the castle.
Yes, well, and you see she moves into this area that's kind of like a side room. She opens the door and just motions with her hands for you all to enter. And you notice Kisho does pretty quickly as he steps through and just stands like and sort of off to the side.
I will walk through and like say thank you. Sorry we're late.
And she inclines her head. All right, as you guys all enter this room, you notice she closes the door behind and then looks towards you all and says, "Well, welcome to Waterdeep. I'm glad to see that you received our summons. I'm not sure how much you know of what is happening on the Sword Coast lately. We were surprised to discover how far away you had gone."
Our travels take us all over the place, wherever the needs arise. I mean, people need our help.
That is good to hear. I'm glad that is your mindset, for that is exactly what is occurring here. We will need your help as well. But I'm afraid it's not going to be as simple as that. Well, let me try to give you some of the details. I don't know how much you've kept up on news from the Sword Coast area here during your time out of the area, but needless to say, there is quite a bit of dangers now in this area. There is some rising activity among the Cult of the Dragon. If you're not familiar with them, they are a malevolent group that is set to bringing dragons to power, chromatic dragons in particular, and using those dragons to enact their will on the greater land here. Of course, it's something that many groups are standing against, but unfortunately this cult seemingly is quite powerful at the moment, and they seem to have a lot of resources at their disposal. Have you heard of the Sky Reach Castle incident?
No. Is that Kurtu? Is that when I scared the dragon? Was that where we were?
There's been so many incidences, right, Gail, that I'm not really sure exactly which one this one was, Dala. But if you'd like to tell us, maybe it'll ring a bell.
You notice she looks towards you, kind of with a little bit of a bemused look on her face, and says, well, no, I'm sure that you all were not involved in this incident. Skyreach Castle, you could think of it as a flying fortress of sorts. There has been some activity in the area that many of us thought associated with the cult. There's been a group of adventurers, quite successful in fact. They've done great things on our behalf, been a great benefit to the entire Sword Coast. We had some discussions with them, and they agreed that Skyreach Castle seemed to be a likely target, somewhere they could go to gather information and see what the cult was really up to. Unfortunately, this did not go exactly as planned. They were able to take care of the dangers of Skyreach Castle, at least we're assuming so, as it has plummeted from the sky. But unfortunately, our group of adventurers has been lost.
A castle fell from the sky?
Yes, I don't have all the details. Excuse me if I get any of this wrong. I'm just going based on secondhand rumors and what our informants have been able to provide so far. But apparently it is some kind of, well, it was, I suppose, a old fortress for a cloud giant, and it had the ability to fly, obviously magical in some way or another. And, well, we strongly believe that it was an area that is associated with the cult of the dragon. And so the group of adventurers that I mentioned, they were very interested in heading there and seeing what they could discover. We were able to communicate with them a little bit here and there through sending spells and get some updates, but unfortunately it has been quiet since then, and we have had the information come through about the castle falling from the sky. That obviously ends any dangers from the castle itself, as nothing would survive that fall. But unfortunately, that also means our adventurers are no longer able to assist us in further activity.
I'm very sad to hear the news that they died in such valiant effort. It rings true. My sister committed her life to save this place, and that is why I'm here. It grieves me very much, and I would do anything I could to vindicate Bryn and these brave adventurers in trying to save the Sword Coast.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that.
So, if the castle's already been taken down, what exactly do you need us for?
The cult of the dragon is very powerful. It is tendrils that stretch all the way across the Sword Coast. Their hands are in many pots, you may say. And unfortunately, their machinations are massive. Their plans very far-reaching. The Skyreach Castle was simply one of the avenues that we needed to research and figure out what was going on there. Anywhere that the cult is, so anywhere that their activity is, we must bring to an end. For their ultimate goal is something that we cannot allow see happen, otherwise everybody in the Sword Coast, nay, everyone in Faerun, would feel the effects. So, what I need from you all, and you see she looks at you all and then kind of like raises an eyebrow as though she's thinking for a moment, and you see she reaches down in this satchel and kind of moves her finger along the papers, and then she looks back up and says, well, clearly you, as she points towards you, Kurtu, are Kurtu, but I don't recognize the rest of you. You are the group that was able to defeat the White Dragon in the Fandelver area, aren't you?
Well, about that, it's, the adventuring life, as you know, is just not an easy one. And I'm just going to say this nicely, is that we've had to regroup. That's what I'll say. We've had to regroup. I, as you know, is one of the original, heroes, of course, but, but I've had to find friends along the way.
Kurtu. And I am Gale. I was there. Bryn was there too. Wait, no, Bryn was not there. Was my sister there? I don't remember. No, she was not there. I was there. And we lost I think, man, how many characters was that, Dylan? Anyway,
211, yes.
We've lost the original slayers of the White Dragon, but there are two that remain, and you're looking at them.
You see she nods slowly. Yes, unfortunately, this makes things even more challenging. Well, let me give you what information that I can. I'm associated here with Waterdeep. I suppose you could think of me as an agent for the city. I do whatever I can to try to assist Waterdeep in matters that affect it and stretch beyond the city itself. And of course, the news of the cult's activity has fallen to me. There are others, obviously many, many others, that are interested in trying to figure out what is going on here and putting an end to it. But when we requested the heroes of Fandelver, there were some folks at our council meetings who suggested that, well, that you weren't necessarily of the appropriate stature to be able to assist. They said they were grateful for what you had done in that area, but some of them think of that as small potatoes, I suppose you could say. They don't think you would necessarily be up to the challenges that you will likely face in this endeavor. There is actually a council meeting going on right now from many different individuals from different factions all gathered together speaking about how to take on this cult and its activity. I tried to see if I could get you in there, but they said they would not speak with anybody until they had more information. And of course, being that only 2 of you survived, that's going to make it even more challenging. But is it you have already said that you're willing to help, and just want to make sure that your group is united on this point. You're all willing to engage on our behalf and to try to thwart the cult?
Yeah, we just got finished kicking another cult's ass way across the way, so we can keep the streak running, kick a little bit more cultist ass. Why not?
I have a question before decisions are made, of course, right? Um, this cult of the dragons here, right? Which cult could be bad, right? I understand that. But is there a particular dragon they favor? I need to know because I don't want anybody hunting my friend.
The cult of the dragon, well, their ultimate goal is to try to bring about the return of Tiamat to the material plane. Any of you that are more academics, you may be aware that Tiamat is currently sealed in the 9 layers of hell. I don't recall the exact one, but she's down there somewhere. This cult has long wanted to find some way of bringing the dragon goddess back to the material plane and allowing her to rule over this area. Many different groups have fought against her many times. So I suppose the answer to your question, Kurtu, is they are all in service to Tiamat.
Oh, thank you for the clarification because we've seen the spirit of Tiamat before. I did, Gail did, and yeah, we would be more than I would be more than glad to help you. And I don't understand why my size, my stature, has anything to do with my ability to be successful.
You saw the spirit of Tiamat? What? Can you explain that?
No, not just right now. I just don't. There's stories that are really tough to talk about sometimes, but I mean, I just want to make sure that your group understands that we have experience with dragon slaying, but I
Oh my
just
God.
don't get the feel that you guys are as interested in us right now.
Miss Dalla, I am sorry. My friend Cortu is trying to be modest and he's fumbling around foolishly. Yes, we have seen when we slayed the white dragon up on the ice pyre peak. I feared it, and then it changed into a 5-headed dragon with different colors, and it said something to me that I will never forget.
What did it say?
You forgot.
He's looking it up.
What page was that on? It said
Was it-
something about like we will meet again or something like that.
Well, this is very surprising. I wish we had known of this information many weeks ago when this occurred. Perhaps it would have allowed us to be better prepared. Tiamat being able to present in the material plane is not exactly new, but if it was attached to the dragon you speak of, that there's probably more there to be gathered. Nonetheless, I'm glad to hear that you have experience in slaying dragons, for in order to get you into these meetings and make sure that all of the different groups here really respect your ability and your willingness to assist us, I would just like to say I personally am very happy to help you, and I'm happy that you are here. Anytime adventurers are willing to work on our behalf, it is a net gain for us. Some of the others, they always worry about adventurers that perhaps are out for themselves more than they are for the common good. Adventurers who would steal things from us or use information that we are able to give them in nefarious ways. I'm hoping that you all understand the risk that is involved here and what would happen if the cult of the dragon is successful. And I hope that would mean you would be on our side. I really have no reason to think otherwise, but is there any questions you all have, or any reason to suspect that your loyalty to this group, to defeating the cult, would be suspect?
Actually, I have one question. I'm sorry, I seem to be in a very talkative mood, but you mentioned that there are many fractions of people in there of different allegiance. What fraction are you with?
I am associated with the city of Waterdeep here. As I said, I'm a noble, and my family has a long heritage here in the city. Our family line goes back many years, and all of members of my family have always been called to public service in one form or another. And that's what I do. I try to honor my family and honor the city by working on its behalf.
So then, how? What kind of fractions are waiting for us?
Well, it's factions, in fact, are the
Oh, sorry.
individuals. That's yes, these are the different groups who have an interest in things. I suppose I would say you can think of the different factions as perhaps you've heard of the Harpers, or the Order of the Gauntlet, or the Emerald Enclave. Those and others have all gathered here. They've sent representatives to come up with a plan of how to defeat the cult of the dragon, how to counter their efforts and do what they can to prevent them from getting stronger.
Oh, but who is in charge? If there are so many factions, then who's in charge?
Dala, I gotta apologize. They're very curious individuals. They ask a lot of questions, but
That is okay.
they
I'm happy to help and answer any questions that I can. To answer that specific question, Gail, it's actually a wiser question than you might think, as all these different factions believe that they, of course, are best suited to lead the effort, but in reality, none of them can get this done on their own. We need adventurers such as yourselves to take upon that mantle and lead with the group's consent and input and try to bring success to the overall endeavor. And I'm sorry there, Rasmus, you were speaking. I just didn't want that question to go answered, please.
No, you're fine. I know there's probably a lot more questions that we will have in the future, but um, is it really that big of a deal that you require this many different individuals from different important groups to convene to solve a problem?
Well, the cult of the dragon is quite powerful. They have many different resources on their behalf. If they were ultimately successful in their goal in bringing Tiamat to the material plane, life for everybody would change dramatically. I don't know if any of you have religious historical knowledge, but anytime a deity has manifested on the material plane, it's led to very tumultuous times in history. The time of troubles, for example. Many other incidents in the land can be attributed to deities and their drives, and this is just probably one of the worst outcomes I can possibly imagine.
So much evil out there. It's better to have a whole bunch of groups, people, factions, and fractions helping us out to be able to be successful. I mean, it's the more the merrier.
Well, you have a good point, Kurt. I experience when there's so many, Leroy would say, so many cooks in the kitchen, there's no one in charge. And maybe this has to be dealt with delicately because the men's pride is at risk. And when men get pride hurt, bad things can happen. Yeah.
Yes, that is what's just one of the layers that we are dealing with right now. All of these different factions have their own goals and aims at what they're trying to accomplish. Yes, ultimately we are all trying to stop the cult of the dragon, but different people have different means to do so and different ideas of what is the appropriate way of doing so. And of course, there's always some self-interest embedded in all of these activities. And even this particular instance, I think, is a great example. I would think that this group would be willing to just meet with you and share what they know, but it's just not possible at this time. If you're all dedicated to this outcome, defeating the cult of the dragon, and you want to help, I think I know of a way to ingratiate the various factions to you and make sure that they are all willing to speak with you if you should undertake a set of tasks that I have laid before me.
I fight someone.
Oh, God. We've
It's
heard
been...
this before. I'm not going to the bottomless dungeon.
I never
No.
went there.
Not
Do I get to fight
anything
anyone,
such as
Dalo?
that. I presume combat will most certainly be involved in these tasks, yes.
I'm ready.
Perhaps you heard or felt that strange sensation not an hour ago.
Yes, it was loud, but not loud. All the animals stopped moving and talking, and I was curious.
She nods her head as you say this. The disturbance that has been sensed across the Sword Coast is the Drakhorn, an ancient device whose sounding alerts dragons across Faerun that great events are unfolding. It's impossible to say what the sounding means, but the dragons hear it clearly and will eventually answer its call.
Are the dragons, like, working together or something?
The cult of the dragon would love nothing more than to bring all of the chromatic dragons under its banner. And if you can imagine how powerful the cult is now, imagine how much more powerful they get each chromatic dragon that swears its allegiance to the cult.
Yeah, that does sound bad. Are there any... I mean, you said there's a lot of people in this cult, but you guys seem to have some good information. Are there any very important figures of the cult that you know about?
Me personally, some, but unfortunately most of that information is very sensitive and I'm unable to release it to you at this point. The council really should be the ones that are giving you this kind of information, and this is why I'm saying if you're willing to undertake these tasks, essentially prove your worth, prove your loyalty to this cause, then hopefully all of the doors would open. They would allow you to attend the council meetings themselves and bring you into the fold, so to speak.
I don't mind helping. My only thing is that I hope all the other people who they're, the other people that they're interviewing for this prestigious, position and everything also killed a dragon in support of lands, but I guess that's not important enough. And I will just say that this is giving me an opportunity to find my my gold dragon friend. So that's what I'm going to do.
I see. Well, understand, there's not other adventurers that are in there speaking with them, trying to be granted this information by the council. The council is very much in chaos right now. Each of those different factions pulling and pushing in different directions. I'm the one who tried to reach out to your group. I made contact with one of your associates there in Fandelver to get the information as to where you had all gone. And I was hoping that it would be much faster to get you here, but I understand how things are. But no, you should not think of this as a slight, Kurtu. There's not other groups that they are trying to bestow any kind of rank or honor upon. It's just that they don't want to meet with anybody at the moment, as they are just all so confused and all grasping for the path forward.
Well, I think everybody would be willing to help, I guess, right? Kurtu, I mean, you're the leader. Are we helping?
I'm glad to help. I know Spencer's been her quiet self, right? So, Spectre, what are you thinking? Hello?
I'm thinking that Tiamat is an existential threat to the world, as I told you when I met you. Uh,
So, does
if
that mean yes?
if this is what we have to do to gain access to the resources we need to take her down, then we take the job.
I do not know what existential means, but I agree with the Spectre. Stop it.
I think that's 4 yeses, Dalo. What do you need from us?
Well, as I mentioned, this Drakhorn, it is sending out a call to all dragonkind. The dragons that are called to it, at least some of them, will likely fall under the banner of the Cult of the Dragon. But what if we were able to stop that call from going out? What if we had some way of interrupting it? And that is the task that I would like to lay before you all, is obtaining the Drakhorn, taking it away from those who use it today, and make sure that it can't be used to bring additional dragons under the banner of the Cult of the Dragon.
I
How-
like
how-
it. Makes sense. Mm-hmm.
How big is this? Is it like a draghorn? Is it big? Like, how big is it?
I have never seen it, to be honest, so I'm only going by second-hand notes here, but it is supposed to be about 5 feet long and has a bit of a curve to it, if these accounts can be verified or trusted, I suppose.
And they are where in your notes, and I'll lean in. Where do you suspect that it will be living?
The Sea of Moving Ice was the last known location of the Drakhorn. No one can pinpoint its present location from the sound, or even verify with certainty that the relic is still in the Northern Sea, but the search must start there. The one person who could tell us more is a tiefling sorcerer called Macath the Crimson. No one alive knows more about the Drakhorn than her, but the Arcane Brotherhood, of which she is also a member, hasn't seen her for 3 years. She was investigating the Sea of Moving Ice when she disappeared.
You say dragonborn?
Drakhorn.
Okay.
What was her name one more time, Adam?
Yeah, I'll put these in chat for you guys.
Perfect.
Hey,
So-
spoiler alert. Was that part of the Ram of the Frost Maiden, the Arcane Brotherhood? I remember they were involved.
Yes, and the Sea of Moving Ice just so happens to also have been in the Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember the moving ice part. Yeah.
I hate ice almost as much as I hate the sea. Now you're putting them both together. My gosh. But we must do what must be done.
So you basically just need us to find this Macath?
Ideally, you would find the Drakhorn itself and bring it back. But Macath would be your best lead to find information on the Drakhorn.
I got a question. You just said to bring it back, right? And it's about 5 foot and all this other neat stuff, right? So, but what if we just smashed it?
If there is no other option than to destroy it, I suppose that would be a good second option. But the reason why that's not as good is you likely know there are many magical means for restoring or repairing something. So even if you destroyed it, it doesn't mean it's destroyed permanently. Whereas if you take possession of it and bring it back here, it's much less likely the cult would be able to use it again.
Good answer. Good answer.
How many of these are running around the world?
How many of what?
the horn thing.
There's only one Drakhorn that we are aware of.
Okay, so here's a thought. I mean, if they have the Draghorn up there in the Sea of Moving Ice, right? Odds are, if somebody just blew it, because you said that's what that feeling was, then that means it's probably got people guarding it, yeah? Is that the cult you speak of, or what do we do with them? Are we supposed to take them down as well?
You would be able to do whatever you think is necessary, with the number one goal of this expedition to be claiming the Drakhorn. If that means you have to kill cultist members to do it, then yes. If there are individuals there who refuse to give you the Drakhorn but they're not associated with the cult, finding some way of persuading them would also be ideal. Your decisions will be your decisions alone, and I can tell you that the factions all gathered here, if you bring the Drakhorn back, would be willing to overlook almost anything short of very heinous activities in order to acquire it.
Do you know anything about any of the people who live in that area? Like, is there a type of people that maybe we know about? We can bring them a gift or something.
Oh, unfortunately, my knowledge on the area is not very expensive. I know there are these tribal individuals that make their home out near the Sea of Moving Ice. They dress in very thick furs. They are known to hunt seals and polar bears and the such. I don't recall their name, I'm afraid.
Do you know anybody who does? That may help us.
I'm sure I could get that information for you. It would just take a bit of time. I don't know of any experts right offhand, but of course there are some here. I would just have to put out the request.
Just trying to think ahead, but if we know somebody in the area, or we can make friends with somebody in the area, then it may help us move around or find what we're looking for faster, more efficiently.
Oh, so I guess a good question is, if we do take on your um, activity here, are you going to help us get transportation to the floating ice? Do you have a boat that floats on ice? I mean, what do you got for us?
She inclines her head towards you, Kurtu. Yes, of course, you would be working on behalf of Waterdeep, though unofficially so at this point until we can convince the council otherwise. But yes, I can certainly requisition some supplies and means of transportation for you. There is a vessel that is actually here docked in Waterdeep that would serve this purpose, known as the Frost Skimmer. Its captain is trustworthy. I've worked with him in the past. It is a vessel that is fairly large, but it is designed to be quite light so that it can be sailed out there or rowed as necessary. And once you get to sections of the Sea of Moving Ice that are too congested with ice, you can actually lift the boat up and carry it over. Believe it or not, the crew that is designed to work with this, of course, are able to lift it. It's not exactly light, I would say, but for a ship, it is light.
Hey Adam, we've been talking with her for quite a while now, and Gale's background is he's not a noble background, but he like served in the palace in the Feywild and stuff, so much so that even Bren was exiled and all of that. But so he's kind of suspicious of nobility. Is there a way I could see if she truly has no allegiance to any of the factions inside the room?
Not just like with a skill check, because that would basically be like reading her mind, but you can
Right.
make a blind check just to see if there's anything that seems off to you. It won't be as specific as what you're asking, but you might get a sense of like something seems a bit off. Yeah, I would say nothing really strikes you one way or the other about this. I mean, everything seems to be on the level based on what she's telling you.
Okay.
Well, I I suppose getting everything together for that journey will take you some time, Dala. Is there a place where maybe we can get some food, rest, maybe buy some supplies?
Yes, many places such as that in Waterdeep, of course. But just confirming then you all agree to take upon this mission, and would you be ready to leave as soon as tomorrow?
Yep. I suppose that's what we're going to be doing. Kurtu seems to be on board. Spectre is always just going to do what,
We
well,
don't really know
we do.
why. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's weird. Uh, Gale is down for it. Look at him. Look at that face.
And
Excellent.
I am ready for this. Yes.
Well, then this is a bit of a formality, but you see she pulls out like a piece of paper from the satchel and places it in front of you, and you can see that it's written as though it is a contract. And you notice that there is the seal of Waterdeep near the front, and then a bunch of fancy writing. And then near the bottom, there's a bunch of lines. And she says, I will just need each of you to sign your names here. And this means that you are pledging yourself to this cause. And this is how we are going to gain acceptance from the Greater Council. Once you are successful in this endeavor and you come back, then we are going to show them that you took on this request of mine without any expectation of a reward, simply because you are willing to aid Waterdeep and the rest of the Sword Coast in its time of need. Once this is successful, I am sure this will allow you access to future council meetings.
Adam, how many pages is this
Yes.
thing?
I'm
It's a
reading
single-
that thing. I'm done being bamboozled.
It's a single sheet. Yeah, if you want to try to get the gist of it, you can make a blind check here to see if anything seems out of the ordinary. But in just general perusing it, it looks sort of like a general agreement or contract that basically says the below signed people are willing to aid in, and it's kind of like high level, but it lists countering the cult of the dragon where needed.
And it says nothing about my soul being stolen by some devil.
Not anywhere that you can see.
Check for invisible link, Gale. I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
Do I need to prick my skin? I mean, do you need blood, or do you got are we using some ink, or how are we signing this thing, or is it just a claw print? I mean, what's going on here?
You see she brings over from the side area a little bit of an inkwell with a quill in it, and she slides it in front of you, and she says, just signing it would be more than sufficient.
You just
Wait,
never
wait.
know. Yeah, the contracts can be crazy.
Hold
I
up,
take the
hold
clue.
up. If I'm signing a contract, should there be some type of addendum for compensation for such deeds?
She literally just said
The compensation, Gale, is that we don't look like noobs
I'm
when we
sorry.
go and speak to other popular. Well, wait. He makes a good point. Can we keep anything we find there,
Yeah.
Dala?
Yes, of course.
Can you
Yeah, there
add
we
that
go.
into the contract that says we can keep all of the bamboozles we find?
Everything is a bamboozle now.
they just want the Drakhorn. I don't think they're gonna care.
That is correct. We do not. If you wish me to write it in, I can, but I might advise against that, because if we do, it's going to look as though you're self-interested.
Well,
We just
here's
don't want to be
what-
taken advantage of.
No,
They
no, no,
don't
no.
need to know anything that they don't need to know.
No, no, no. But Dalla, look, if we are committed, and we are going to need improvements for our stuffs, and we might find such stuffs, and so it's for the benefit of the entire fractions that are behind that door.
Anything that you should find there other than the Drakhorn is we have no interest in or need in, so we would not be requesting that of you. As I said, if it makes you feel more comfortable for me to write into the contract that anything that's not the Drakhorn you can keep, I can do so. I would just advise you that some of the factions of the council may read that, and their interpretation would be that you're more of a mercenary mindset, and they're going to have to be very careful with their words, and they're going to have to compensate you for any types of activities. This may cause some of them pause and not be as welcoming to you as they otherwise would be. How would you like to proceed?
Oh, I understand. There's no need to write it in there. I just want to make sure that just leave it as is then.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
start
I'm
us
gonna
off.
read it to make. I'm gonna
Right.
read in there and make sure it doesn't say anything like you have to give us all of this stuff. I mean, maybe a mission is addition. See where I'm going with the fractions on that one there, Gail?
I'm gonna go ahead and sign while they're talking about it and reading over it, Adam. I'm just gonna dip the quill and then sign Rasmus.
Okay.
Yeah, I take it from him after he's done.
And then I say, wait. And then I do a parentheses and then put goat man. And then put another. You guys call me that all the time. I just want to be sure if we get fame and credibility that they know it's
Yeah,
me.
that's okay. The last guy was known as the merchant. So yeah, everyone gets a title.
Wonderful. I'll give you a moment to speak amongst yourselves in case you wish to talk about anything else before fully signing it as she's watching Rasmus sign it. I'm going to have a quick conversation with your associate here, and I'll be right back. And you notice she walks over towards Keisho and takes him off to the side, and the two of them walk off and sort of have a quiet conversation.
Yeah, that conversation is, are you sure this is the best you got?
So I'll sign it, and I'll sign Gale Fusefall in common, but it looks like a third grader is writing it, and then underneath I'll sign in Elvish Gale Fusefall, and it looks like old school calligraphy.
I guess if we're going up north, I'll probably need a shirt, huh?
Do well to get cold weather gear, snowshoes, maybe those climbing equipment if we have to scale glaciers or crawl down into crevasses. I don't remember what those are called.
Aren't they just called crevasses?
I meant the climbing equipment.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like, I don't remember the exact word for it, but it's something like a feminine hygiene product.
Clamp-ons? Is that what
Something
you're...
like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I still have some. Gil, we're gonna get you another tent, but now we have a bag we can put it in.
We should get some food, too. I mean, the Sea of Moving Ice doesn't sound like it's necessarily a straight shot, you know?
No, good thing is it is near the water, so there'll be a lot of fish. But I'm gonna sign this as long as I don't see anything that says we have to give our crap away, right? I'm gonna sign it, Kurtu, the famous Dragorn.
So I would say upon your read through here, Kurtu, you notice there's a lot of big words in this, and a lot of them don't really make a whole lot of sense to you. You're not exactly the most highly intelligent individual, so maybe this doesn't come as a particular surprise. But yeah, I would say you can't really say one way or the other exactly what this contract says because of all the legalese.
I don't have to be smart. Nobody understands legalese, Adam. It's why they put it in the contracts.
Yeah, that's why lawyers have to do all that extra crap.
I'm getting paid for this high vocabulary.
4 extra years of school? Really, it's just spelling. How good you Latin?
All right, so I imagine each of you has now signed the contract here, and once that is complete, you notice Dala and Keisho making their way back over, and you notice she looks back towards you all, and she says, so I don't know how much time you've gotten to spend getting to know Keisho here, but he comes to us on behalf of the Shogun of Sobo Taishu. He is here essentially as a counselor to the greater efforts to make sure that he can inform the Shogun onto the everything that is occurring here in this effort, and if necessary, may be able to call upon Sobo Taishu for some aid, though we will try to not do that unless absolutely necessary. Unfortunately, that land, as you may or may not know, is currently stretched due to some of its own, and you see she looks back towards Keisho, difficulties. Keisho has explained to me that he is here to aid in what he can. If you would like, he says he can accompany you in your journeys to the north, or he can remain here and try to put in good words with the council where possible and continue to try to build some goodwill for your group. How would you like to proceed with Keisho?
Adam mechanically is what's the difference?
So NPC sidekick kind of thing, right?
Yes. So essentially, this is I never, as a DM, like to force an NPC on the group. I will say that this campaign is not going to be so hard that if you don't take him, you're all going to die. It's nothing like that. But if you guys want to take him, obviously he would be helpful to you because it's an extra person in the party. If you prefer to be able to move without having to, follow up with him or check with him or maybe have his input or anything like that, you could certainly keep him here.
I think the cool benefit is that if he sticks around, he might help communicate with the council and give us a little more favor when we come back. But he doesn't really know us, so
Yeah. And he doesn't really like us either.
yeah, I don't feel kindred with him.
I feel like it might be a good idea to bring him along until such a time that we might obtain a fifth player. We were talking about that, but you
I,
can leave him here if you want.
just out of character. I like the last. I don't know. I feel like bottomless dungeon. No, wait. Scarlet Citadel. We got companion, and I've just done a lot of things with companions lately, and I would like to give Adam the relief of not having an NPC to play, and we can just do the four of us. But that's just me personally. I think if we keep him here too, it could do good for us to have somebody that knows us that is also speaking with the council as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Spectre, does he know you? You seem to have some type of knowledge with each other.
I'm aware of him, but I haven't worked under him. No.
Oh, then okay. Rasmus, how much help would this man be if he doesn't even know us?
I mean, I guess the same thing could be said if, like, we took him with us, right? We don't know how he fights. We don't know his tactics, things like that. We fought
Okay,
together before, though, you know?
that's funny. Here we go, Adam. I'm gonna hit you here with know your enemy on the old man.
Okay, and which of these two things are you picking?
I would like total class levels.
So this is if you. The creature is inferior to you in that.
Oh, well, he's not quite.
Yeah,
What-
answer the man.
I've been watching him walk about, and so he's not quite as good as we are, but he still has hit points and that could be used.
So that was total class levels. Like I believe you get to pick one other.
Okay, and then I will take current hit points.
He is inferior to you.
Okay, well, not at the surprise. He's inferior to me in both those regards.
Here's another thing. What if he dies while he's out there with us? Then we gotta deal with that and the Shogun and everything. Guy's already been stripped of all his titles, you know?
Well, if he comes with us, I'm sure he will sign the contract like we did.
I'm
And there
neutral.
it
I'm just
says,
saying I'm neutral.
and there it says you will not be liable for lacerations, incinerations, machinations.
Or in worst case scenario, termination. I mean, if you guys want to bring him, that's cool with me. I'm just saying, just recently, I feel like we've had a lot of companions coming along with us. Like we had an NPC on like every level of the dungeon. We've had NPCs all over the place. I would like the four of us to be able to go after it, but it's always nice to have a sidekick, little meat shield. But is what
Yeah,
it is.
and if we don't have this one, maybe we can get a pet wolf or a bear or something. That'd be
Oh
cool,
my.
right?
Or like a tribal person. We bring a right gift, we can get a tribal person.
Yeah, Adam's gonna give you a pet bear, a pet polar bear when you get up there.
Hey, look, I rode this satyr with he's got expertise in animal handling. Okay,
There you
he
go.
doesn't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm neutral, to be honest with you. I really don't care either way.
Yeah, I will. Then you know what? I would agree. Maybe we could stay here, and then help. Maybe he could learn and tell us about some news that comes when we come back.
Okay, so I think I heard 2 stay here, 1 neutral, 1 go. So that will be stay here. So with that understanding, you'll notice Keisho kind of just does this nod. He does not sign on to this contract at this point. And you notice that he kind of remains here just waiting for you guys to continue your business. And Adala nods as you guys make this decision. And she says, excellent. Yes, I'm sure he will be a great resource here and can continue communicating back and forth as needed. And yes, we will wish you the best on your endeavors. Now that you have all signed this, feel free to find accommodations in any of the inns in Waterdeep. I could recommend a couple if you really need them, but sometimes it's better just to wander and see what you find. The city has much to offer, as you probably have seen just from your brief bit about a time inside. Tomorrow morning, we will have everything ready for you to go at the docks. You'll be looking for the vessel known as the Frost Skimmer, and it is captained by a man known as Lurashta. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Lurashta. They call him Lurashta Half-Face. So you may not want to point out the issue with his face, but nonetheless, I can tell you that I have worked with him multiple times. He is a very reliable individual, and he does right by us.
Well, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I got pickpocketed. I feel like I've lost. Someone stole my money, and so I would like to prefer to be in places where I'm not going to be a pickpocket. I will spend the money for a nice place to spend night.
I agree. It's going to be cold for a long time upcoming, so good last dinner, warm in.
I think so too. And I think I'd rather get somebody steal for high prices than somebody steal from, not getting anything in return. That's a good idea, Gail.
All right, guys. So with this arrangement with Dala complete, you guys have all signed. She will release you guys to the city to make your way where you would like. I heard Gail say he wants to basically look for somewhere that's higher class to stay, more security, better stuff, more very less likely to be robbed, that kind of stuff. You guys definitely.
I meant to ask her actually.
Oh, so you're looking for a recommendation from her?
Yes. Yeah.
She will give you a recommendation of a more of an upper class type of establishment that you're looking for based on what you've indicated, though she does tell you be prepared. It's going to be a little bit pricier.
That's fine. This might be our last. Never mind. I'm not going there. So yeah, let's go.
Did she explain to it? I heard something about she would have like stuff ready for us in the morning. Did she explain exactly what supplies she was offering us, or
She
is
didn't.
this like a
If you'd like to inquire, she can certainly tell you what she will have prepared for you.
yeah? Because we might need to do some shopping before we leave.
All right. She will let you know that what they will have waiting for you there at the Frost Skimmer is sets of cold weather gear, including snowshoes suitable for traversing deep drifts. And let's see. Yes, this specific vessel is specifically designed to be able to move through ice. So it's not necessarily like an icebreaker like you think of modern ships, but it is designed to withstand the cold. And like I said, it can be lifted out of the water. So it is a very interesting or novel way of getting about the ice flows in the area. So yeah, primarily this is cold weather gear with the snowshoes.
Okay.
We'll make a note to still get the crampons and the climbing gear would helpful.
So that's already included in everything?
No.
Once you get there, the
Oh.
cold weather gear is what will be on the vessel for you. Anything else that you wanted to pick up, you would want to pick that up yourself.
Could we maybe say like over break we did a little PHB shopping and picked up a few items at them?
You absolutely can, yes. So the inn that she is going to recommend to you is known as the Warrior and Chalice. It is in the more upper scale areas here of Waterdeep, and she tells you to speak with the proprietor of the inn, one Waltham Glayley. And she tells you that he's a very interesting individual and has a bit of a sailor's mouth, but don't hold it against him. It's not really his fault, and the food and drink is wonderful there.
Perfect. Can you point direction where to go?
She seems to remember that you're not from here at all, and you see she pulls out like a rough map of the city, and she kind of smooths it out on the table in front of you, and you see she basically does a "you're here, this is where it's at" kind of thing.
Perfect. So I'm a cartographer skill, so I will have a nice memory of that, hopefully. Oh, can I take this map, please? Is it from the brochures?
She will happily give you this rough copy of the map of the city of Waterdeep.
Poor Adam. I've been DMing recently, and I'm like, I understand now the little curveballs that could be thrown.
No, it's a good question. Yeah, but you always wonder, like, well, what is somebody going to do with this, right? So, but yeah, she can give you a copy.
All right, I'll just take the map. Thank you.
I'm sorry, one more question. How far away is the Sea of Moving Ice? Like, how long do we think this expedition is going to take?
It is a multi-day journey to get to the Sea of Moving Ice, and you're looking for something in the moving ice that you don't know exactly where it's at. So once you take the multiple days to get there, then it's likely going to be a search to find what you're looking for. So I would say you would want to plan on at least 10 days, I would say, meaning the travel there, the search, and then the travel back.
Right, okay. That's important to remember for rations and stuff.
Yeah, I think
I don't
I'm
have enough
double
good
that.
berries to get us through the whole thing.
Yeah, is there going to be any on the ship, Adam, already, or should we
Good
buy
berries?
rations?
Oh,
No, I think this is rations. Yeah, I'm sure
No,
they'll have
rations.
rations.
They
They
will
probably need
definitely
a
have-
crew and stuff.
Yes, this is going to be a crewed ship, so there's a captain, and approximately, she could let you know, there's approximately like 40 sailors on the ship. So yes, it certainly has supplies and everything it needs to man it. Okay, well, with that information in hand, I'm going to assume you guys make your way out of this government building, make your way up towards the inn that has been recommended to you by Dala, and you guys will then eat and drink your fill in there. It's safe and secure, nothing to worry about. You can deduct, we'll say, 5 gold piece each for a lavish meal and for very good accommodations, including nice-sized feather beds, and you guys get a really nice rest inside and would be waking up in the morning and doing any shopping you need to do before setting off for the docks. So as we're right about break time here, guys, let's go ahead and pause, take our break. If you would like to buy anything from the PHB at PHB prices, you can certainly do that while you're here in Waterdeep. If there's anything special that you're looking for, let's discuss that after the break, and we will pick up from there.
Hey, just real quick, Kurtu's going to volunteer to pay for the lodging and meals because I think some of the group members have been doing some other stuff recently. So I'll just go ahead and deduct 20 gold at him for my stuff.
Perfect. All right, Kurtu walks in and he makes it rain and covers everybody's expenses.
Now that we're going to break, but I guess healing potions are a little harder to find. We'd have to roll and look around.
Common healing potions here in Waterdeep, you could find tons. So you could buy them at that 50 gold piece each very easily. If you're looking for anything that's not in the PHB, meaning magical item, that's something you'd actually have to look for.
Okay, thanks.
Sure thing. Yep. All right. So break time, guys. We'll come back in 15 minutes. Alrighty, we are back on our second half of our session. So the group is having rested overnight at this pretty nice place in Waterdeep. Wakes up, grabs some early food, drink, and gets their way back out into the city of Waterdeep to make any last-minute preparations they'd like to do before heading to the docks and their vessel that is waiting for them. So, team, you guys have had an opportunity to purchase anything you'd like that is sort of common. Is there anything less common that anybody is looking to purchase before making their way to the docks?
Hey, Adam, I'm going to go ahead and buy 4 healing potions.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so this is Waterdeep, really, really big city, so you can find a ton of stuff here that you couldn't find in smaller cities. So, yeah, finding healing potions is certainly no issue.
Yeah, I sold those tools and I bought 6. I spent more money and I bought 6 healing potions, rations, and climbing gear. A climbing kit, sorry.
All right, excellent. Well, I will assume everybody has everything they need then, or does anybody still need a minute?
Just go ahead and throw out to the group. I do have more gold. I have like 480 more gold if anyone needs any gold for like healing potions or whatever.
The leader will be more than glad to help support your health.
I also have about 500 gold as well. So yeah, I think we're pretty good on gold if anybody wants to buy anything. But I also bought 4 potions and a blanket.
What about a shirt?
I'm just gonna use those cultist robes. You know, I cut the robe part off at the bottom, and it's like a breezy beach shirt. You know.
You need like a
Yeah, that'll work.
sheepskin
That'll
coat
work
or
on me.
something.
I can
It's
see.
padded.
So what about if we have to sleep on the floating ice? Do we need to buy tents?
I thought we could pick the boat up and take it over the ice.
So we are assuming that the boat will stay with us the whole time. How are we going to get back? And what if we're stuck there? We need to sleep in a tent.
Did you buy a tent?
No, that's why we're over here over coffee and hard-boiled eggs to know what we should prepare for.
I got a bedroll and a blanket, and I have
Oh,
fur.
no, that's not gonna do. We
No,
gotta
no.
definitely need a tent. I think if we need, yeah.
I will buy a 2-person tent, and you guys can wrestle off to see who wants to sleep in my tent.
Why don't we just buy 2 since there's 4 of us?
I
If
just said
only
I
we
would buy one.
had kept a tent that we had earlier, but decided we didn't need. That would have been.
That was an old tent. We have a nice fancy one from Waterdeep now.
Well, that's
Adam,
an two-fancy tent.
will the tents fit in the bag of holding? And I just mean mechanically, can it actually get in there?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
We should
Okay, I'm buying
definitely
a
have enough
2-person tent.
tents.
Okay, so purchasing a 2-person tent, are you explaining to the shopkeeper where you're headed when you purchase this tent?
No, that because I am not a very friendly guy anyway, and
No,
so he
needs a
doesn't need to know.
Gail. Gail, you need a nice tent
Oh,
because this is gonna be in the cold area. Tell the gentleman you
yes.
need a cold 2-person. Actually, a nice 2-person tent where with room for Kurt too would be good.
So we are anticipating to have cold weather.
In the sea of moving ice? I think that's a safe bet.
Do you have any tents that would be particularly useful in cold weather?
As you ask the shopkeeper of this, he nods as though this is not an uncommon request, and instead of selling you the basic 2-person tent, he will sell you a fur-lined 2-person tent. It does cost 20 gold pieces instead of 2, and it weighs 40 pounds instead of 20.
Oof. I will carry this one then. I'll buy one.
And would you like me to go ahead and I can go halfies on that if you have that way it has room in there for Kurt too.
Sure, halfsies. So 10 gold each, you said? 10? All right, I took 10 off, and I'm going to increase the weight to be 40 instead of 20. Yikes.
If it's helpful at all to you, Gail, we could put some stuff in the bag of holding, but not the tent. But I mean, maybe there's some options for you.
That's true. Okay, so nothing to worry about now. It's good to know you have the magic bag.
That's right. That's right. Because we all chipped in on that one.
Oh, and torch. Well, we all can. Well, torches would not be a bad idea.
I got 10 fresh torches in my Dungeoneers pack.
Oh, that's fine. That's good. Anything else we could brainstorm in our last minute? So I have only one 2-person tent, just so for the record.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to have somebody on watch, and we'll figure that out when we come to it. But carrying around that kind of weight is pretty heavy. But I picked up a shovel and an iron pot in case we run out of water. We can just melt some ice. Got a miner's pick in case we got to do some digging. Got a grappling hook for climbing purposes. You know, I use that so much in the Baldur's Gate campaign. It came in handy a lot. And yeah, the Dungeoneer's pack has like a crowbar and stuff. Rope.
Let me just see how much weight I can carry. 15 times strength, I think.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm at 242. I can carry 270 right now, so I can only carry 30 more pounds of stuff.
I have enough weight to carry another tent. We should just do that so we don't have to think about it. It was 20 gold, Adam?
For a fur-lined tent, yes, 20 gold, 40 pounds of weight.
I will add a fur-lined tent to me with my funding.
All right.
Now we have 2, and now we don't have to think about it.
So I definitely don't want to rush you guys, but I was hoping this wouldn't be too much of a shopping episode. Is there anything in particular you guys want to make sure you get before making your way to the docks?
I think that ties up the loose ends there, Adam, with the tents and the torches and everything. I think we're good, right, guys?
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, so you guys make your way after purchasing these things and getting stocked up for what you need. You make your way south to the docks, or it's actually more west, I suppose, but maybe southwest. You head to the docks based on the instructions that were provided to you by Dala, and eventually, when you notice the vessel, the Frost Skimmer, which takes you maybe 20 minutes to figure out which one it is and all these different ships, you actually notice Dala standing near the docks, and she notices you approaching, and she gives you sort of that motion with her hand to say that she recognizes you and asks you to approach.
Oh, look, there she is.
He probably wants to see us away and wish us luck.
I walk over.
Okay, as you walk over to her, you notice she gives you a slight nod, and then she says, I hope you're ready for your journey. I did want to stop and let you know I was able to find a little bit more information based on what you asked about the individuals in that area. I found a couple of more notes here in my records. So Macath, if you remember, I spoke to you of Macath the Crimson. Macath reported her progress to the host tower by way of sending spells. Her last report spoke of seeing ice hunters, these are the tribal individuals I told you about, paddling their sealskin boats toward a huge iceberg, flattened like a plateau across its surface but ringed by icy peaks. She had intended to follow the ice hunters and investigate the iceberg. After that, no more reports came. Attempts to find Macath using scrying or other magical means located only her ship, adrift and heavily damaged. Some of the ship's crew were seen dead, but no sign of the tiefling sorcerer was ever found. However, the lair of a dragon as powerful as Aura Thador is no doubt protected against scrying magic. If Macath is alive, in addition to the lore she can share regarding the Drakhorn, the Arcane Brotherhood would be most grateful to get her back. And notice she stops at this note and then looks up at you guys to see if there's like sort of any shock on your faces.
None. Just what's
Yeah.
normal.
He's like
Yeah.
picking. Rasmus is like picking his ear and like smelling it afterwards.
Yeah, I've lost so many friends and family members and stuff. It's just becoming normal for Kurt too.
Okay. So she was in a ship, and it might be adrift. And maybe we can get her back. And that last she was going to follow ice hunters, going to on their little boats, going to a plateaued iceberg with columns.
Yes.
Which may or may not have a huge fucking dragon in it.
That's true.
But that should be no problem for those of you who already dealt with Cryovane.
Oh yes, that was his name.
Do you know anything about this new dragon? Are they super smart, super big? I don't know. Are they new to the area or any information on the dragon itself?
You notice she kind of looks back and forth. There's some regular sailors, dock workers, that kind of stuff moving back and forth, and she speaks in an even lower tone. Nothing concrete exactly. Well, White Dragon, as you probably surmised from the location. There are some reports that Arathator was in the group that attacked Luskin some years ago and seemingly made away with some magical artifacts. I don't know if that might have any impact on your journeys, but there is some speculation that is the same.
So we kill the dragon and we get his magic loot. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and just in case anybody's wondering, well, I should say Gail. I don't even know Gail was there. I still have frost lotion from the merchant from like years ago.
What does that do?
I don't know, but he said it would protect us against cold stuff, or I think it's like cold damage. I don't remember. I bought it from a merchant that was, if I remember right, was riding a giant turtle or something.
Interesting. That would have been helpful in some kind of situation where we were being bombarded by ice over and over and over again.
No, that didn't happen. It's not. No. It only helps when. Yeah. Well, I don't know when it helps.
Yeah.
It doesn't protect you from the ice attacking you. I think it was like after effects or something.
You know, she sort of looks her eyes back and forth as you guys are having this little discussion. Well, here is the frost skimmer. Everything you need is on board. As I mentioned, Captain is there. He knows to expect you. I've informed him of what he needs to know. He should not ask you too many questions. He tends to keep to himself, but don't feel bad if you have to ask him anything. He's happy to help. He just, well, he's kind of quiet. But is there anything else I can help you with before you set off?
Yes, actually, I do have one, maybe two questions. One, is the boat going to wait for us, or and then if the boat just drops us off, how do we get back?
The intent is for the vessel to wait there for you. If this is going to cause a problem, if it's multiple days or something that you're off of the ship, the captain may then have to move, but no, the intention is for him to remain there and wait for you.
Oh, excellent.
Does the captain know where we're going? Just to the Sea of Moving Ice, or does he know where this plateau is with the ice columns?
No, he does not. As the name implies, the Sea of Moving Ice is constantly changing. So this iceberg that you're looking for, unfortunately, there's no way to know where it is right now.
Well, I guess we should be off.
Stay
Well-
warm, my friends, and thank you for taking on this very important mission.
It is at the least that our four heroes that have no name can manage. Yeah, we're gonna do good.
All right, with this, she smiles and makes her way off. You notice up just this ramp slightly is the frost skimmer itself.
So yeah, Rasmus will like scoop up all of his gear and throw it on his back and begin to walk over in the direction of the boat.
All right, and as I assume the rest of you follow and everybody begins to board the ship, you do indeed notice a gentleman who is surprisingly dressed in what looks like heavy armor. You usually don't see something like this on a ship. He actually walks over towards you and just lowers his head, and you hear him kind of muttering under his breath to the crew as they're kind of moving about, moving things around. And you notice one of the crew members nods towards this guy as he mutters to him and looks towards you and says, do you all have any stuff you need us to help bring on board?
Just what we're carrying here.
Oh,
And
okay.
I can handle it just fine, thank you.
Oh, well, Captain said make yourself comfortable. You can stay above deck or go below, your choice.
Okay, we're also supposed to get the supplies, the snow weather gear and the snowshoes. Where can we find those, please?
Yes, and you see he looks down and then looks back up. Wasn't there supposed to be 5 of you?
No, there wasn't. That must have been miscommunication. There are only 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah, head on downstairs, down below deck, in the southwest corner. There's some crates and things, and you'll be able to find the gear there. You might not want to put it on right now, though, because it's not that cold yet.
Thank you. You are very, very perceptive.
And you see he smiles, not sure if you're making fun of him or not, but he seems happy with himself.
And I'll go down and I'm going to get my supplies before anything else happens. I'm ready.
Yep, same.
Okay, so we will assume full group makes their way below deck, finds your supplies, and settles in for the journey. So as everything is loaded on that needs to be loaded on, the ship definitely has this odor of, I would say, salt and probably fish is pretty strong in the ship. As the ship takes off, yes, you do indeed find 5 sets of cold weather gear. So 1 for each of you. You can feel free to add a cold weather gear to your sheet. It is fairly heavy, so you'll want to check that. It should be right in the SRD, though. This does include snowshoes, as mentioned. So if you decide to equip your snowshoes and you're in a situation where that's going to make a difference, I'll probably ask you to just throw an icon on your token representing that you're wearing the snowshoes. They help you move across snow, but if you're trying to move across other things, they kind of slow you down a bit. All right, with
I'm
that,
not finding this in the compendium.
cold weather gear. Let me just double check. Should be in there. Yeah, cold weather clothing. I'm sorry, that's what it's called.
Huh.
Is anybody
it's not
else?
showing up.
Oh, if it's not showing up for you, hang on 1 second. It is from the Rime of the Frost Maiden is where it actually originated from, so it's possible I didn't share. Oh, yeah, that's probably what it is. Hang on 1 second. Let me fix that real quick. All the fun stuff that happens when you start a new campaign. Okay, give it a... Oh, looks like that did not take. Hang on 1 sec.
I can just add it manually if that's faster. How much does it weigh?
So I was trying to double check. Okay, I think that should be set now. Compendium settings updated. It is listed. Yeah. So you might just have to refresh your window, and then you should see it. All right. Yeah. So we feel free to add that, and we'll go ahead and move on for now. But yes, you guys are on the ship and start making your way out across the sea. Is the assumption, or is it safe to assume you guys are going to remain below deck? Are you going to head above deck? Give me an idea of where your characters are going to be.
They said it's gonna take several days. I don't really
Yes.
see a point to go above deck until we get closer to our destination.
I would say I'm going to be 50-50.
Rasmus would chill above deck. Just he wants, it's a new area for him. He's from the Feywild, so seeing as many places as possible is important to him.
Okay, so it sounds like overall the group is kind of splitting their time both above and below deck. So as the ship sets sail, it does indeed have a single sail. So as the wind is relatively strong early on, the sail is up. However, you notice it's also set with oars. And much as you were told by Dala, there's about 40 crew members here who are all moving around the ship, both above and below deck, taking care of the various activities necessary. As you guys have just recently spent some time on a ship, probably not too foreign to you seeing this similar type of work. But yes, this is going to be at least a couple of days' journey. What you're seeing on screen right now, obviously, is more the sea of moving ice. You're not quite there yet, but as the ship sets off on this multi-day journey to get to the north and that location, is there anything in particular you guys are doing during the transit?
Hey, Rasmus, actually. Hey, Rasmus, you know that loot I gave you is from Misa. She was a little gnome, and she said it was special. Have you tried it out?
Yeah, when we were sleeping the other night after you gave it to me, I tried to play some notes, and it appears that you can create just visual effects, like music notes or um, little bunny rabbits hopping around my feet as I play, things like that. I figure it may come in handy to impress somebody or, calm someone down or something.
Ha, bunny rabbits. That's hilarious. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you could put it to good use.
Um, After we finish that convo, Rasmus is going to go and see if he can track down the Captain Halfface.
You can, yes. He is above deck most of the time. So as you make your way above deck, you do indeed see the captain. He's kind of off in the corner here as his crew's working diligently. And it looks like he's kind of looking over the side of the ship right now and just taking things in.
Excuse me, Captain.
You see he turns, has this hood on his face, and he keeps his head hung kind of low. So you can't really get a good look at him, but he turns towards you and, yes, what do you need?
Um, Dala couldn't tell us too much about the type of people we're going to see when we get out here. She said a tribal group of some kind, ice hunters. Do you mind telling me a little more information?
Don't know much about them, to be honest. We don't get much need for heading up to the sea of moving ice. But they're primitive folk. They hunt with simple tools and kind of clan based, tribal, I suppose you could say. Is there something specific you're wanting to know?
I guess, how do they fight? I mean, do they have like pets or something, or are they, uh, archers, or have like long spears or so? I mean, ice hunters sound like they hunt creatures.
Yeah, as far as fighting, most I've seen generally spears, sometimes short bows, daggers, those types of things. There are some that have other tools at their disposal. Occasionally have like a shaman with them, focused like nature magic kind of stuff.
And like, if the ice hunters go out to collect food, my guess is they go back to like a colony or something. Are you familiar with any of the colonies of these ice folk up here?
There's some encampments that I know of, but they don't stay in one place very long. They're nomadic by nature, and then of course the sea of moving ice is always moving too. So you generally recognize them by a clan here or there. Like I said, I don't know them too well, but there is one clan I've worked with before on a couple of trips up here. Not very frequently, of course, but they're kind of standoffish. They're not overly hostile, but they tend not to want to deal with what they call city folk.
So if we come across them, are they hostile, and like, should we engage immediately, or are they diplomatic? Can we speak with them?
They're not hostile generally. They're also not diplomatic. Their language is a little challenging. I doubt any of you guys know how to speak it. Do any of you have vast knowledge of local and regional dialects?
Nope. I'm not from here anyways, but doesn't sound like we're going to encounter a group of just outright evil individuals hunting us, right?
I don't know I'm probably not from them, not the ice hunters. I don't know what exactly you'll encounter though. But if you want to try to talk with them, there's a guy on deck, Jenkins. He speaks the local language, at least good enough to communicate simple things. So if you need to talk with him, let me know. I'll have Jenkins go with you.
Man, that might come in handy. You never know. That's all I needed. I just like to know about the potential enemies we may have to face.
Yeah, well, like I said, from them, not too much. Obviously, there's other strange things in the water from time to time. Occasionally, I've had to fight off some sharks that were interested in the boat, but not very often.
Is there anything outright that just concerns you? I mean, maybe it's just like a very rare occurrence or event, but just for sure kind of scares you if we were to encounter it.
Well, the most challenging decision to make once you're up there is there's going to be areas where overnight, especially, we can either keep the boat in the water, have like a crew always on and making sure no ice crashes into us, or we can actually beach the vessel, pull it up onto the ice floes, and then just rest there on the ice floe until morning and start moving again. You're never sure how far you're going to move overnight, and either option has its own risks, but it's kind of half a dozen one, 50 of the other, you know.
Yeah, okay. I guess we'll make that decision when we face it, but I appreciate you and thanks for taking us. I know your crew and yourself are at risk, but the mission is important.
He nods. Yep. I figured it must be for Dalla to ask, and don't worry, we're being compensated fairly for this. So I hope things will go well, and we'll have nothing exciting to write back about.
All right. Well, I'm Rasmus. Scale over there. Spectre, she's been below deck most of the time. She doesn't talk much, and Kurtu is the small dragon fellow. So, if you need our help, we can assist in fighting off sharks attacking the boat or something. Just give a shout.
Will do. Yeah, most of the crew here are not fighters, so if anything crazy happens, yeah, I'll be calling for you.
All right. Then he will turn and go back, maybe below deck, see if he can find where anybody else is at, and just hang out.
All right. Anything else during the journey that anybody wants to do? Okay, not hearing anything in particular then. The trip towards the Sea of Moving Ice, and let me get you guys back over to that regional map just so you get an idea where you're going. So leaving from Waterdeep and making your way up to the Sea of Moving Ice, again, it is quite a journey here. As you're moving towards the north, the boat seems to be making pretty good time, but you know you're basically following the coast here and doing this approximately. This appears the Sea of Moving Ice. So you got quite a bit of a journey to go. The vessel is moving fairly quick along the coast, especially, making pretty good time. But it ends up being a good 4 days before you guys start getting closer and closer. The nip in the air is getting more pronounced and it's starting to get colder. Is it safe to assume everybody is equipping their cold weather gear at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
I was equipping it before it got colder. I just was like, I don't like the cold.
Fair
Rasmus
enough.
will cut the
You suck.
legs off the pants so his goat hooves can go through
Yeah.
comfortably. It's kind of
All
like a
right,
cold
nice.
weather Speedo is what he's got on.
I don't want to try to picture that, but I got it. Good description.
And then the jacket, of course, but like with the pants, they didn't work too well with his goat legs, so he just kind of ripped them and made them work.
All right, excellent. Well, as you guys are moving more through this area and start getting to where you can see floating chunks of ice in this area, you notice the captain is much more active at this point, calling out to the crew. They're taking more of an active watch and have these poles in hand. And as the boat gets like closer to certain chunks of ice, they use the poles to kind of redirect. Either if it's a really small piece of ice, they just move the piece of ice out of the way. If it's a larger piece, they kind of all use multiple poles to kind of redirect the boat enough so it doesn't hit. There are a couple of occasions here as you're making your way through that some of the ice flows are just absolutely massive. They're not necessarily really wide, but they might be really long, for example. And you guys are able to witness one of these where the captain indicates that he's going to need everybody to disembark from the boat. So basically gets up next to one of these ice flows pretty close. Everybody gets off the boat. And you can see with all of the weight of the crew and all of you standing on this ice floe, the boat is actually light enough that they have this procedure where they kind of grab onto the boat and are able to actually lift it. It takes the 40 of them, but it doesn't look like they are massively strained with all 40 of them. But they sort of lift it up, and then they actually walk it like the 30 feet across this chunk of ice, and then set it down on the other side and kind of slide it back in. And again, being how big this boat is, it's a very impressive feat. But you're wondering again how heavy this boat is. It's like 80 feet long, but 40 guys are able to carry it. So again, this gives you an idea of how heavy this might be. And set it back in the boat. Everybody re-embarks on the vessel, and they continue on their way. All right.
Can I do a know thy? It's going to be a. Just tell me if I'm just being too much, Adam. But can I do know thy enemy on one of those oarsmen on strength?
Lesser, inferior to you in every category.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's what he would do. He'd be like, "How are they doing that?"
Yes, like I say, it is fairly impressive because, again, the ship's like 80 feet long, and when you think of somebody picking something up that's 80 feet long, it seems almost impossible. But yeah, this is a concerted effort. They all get on the side of the boat. They all lift at the same time. There's like a command, and whoop, they all lift up, and it actually lifts up. So yeah, you're realizing that the boat itself is somehow made to be very light, to the point where these guys can actually carry it. But yes, as some people are speculating in chat there, if there's not enough people here, that might change. But yes, you guys do manage to cross some of the ice floes, continue on your way. And at this point, you basically have lookouts, and I'm assuming some of you guys might also be looking out. You're looking for this location that Dala has provided to you, which is a huge iceberg flattened like a plateau across its surface, but ringed by icy peaks. And so basically, you're just keeping your eyes peeled for hours and hours and on this time that passes.
I would also keep an eye out for the shipwreck. They said it was a shipwreck, maybe adrift for what's her Marquette or what her name is.
Yeah, I think Rasmus, knowing that everybody's looking for where we're going, is looking to make sure that we're not about to get attacked, especially after talking to the captain. So he's keeping his eyes on his surroundings, maybe doing laps around the group, making sure nothing seems to be uneasy.
So keeping in mind that this is over hours and hours of time, so you can't be vigilant that whole time. So I'll assume you're basically passive perception as you're on deck, and you're looking around. Sure. Sometimes you're popping down below, right? Those types of thing. But after you again have spent like 4 days to get here, and then like another half day moving through the sea of moving ice, all these different chunks of ice, navigating it, very challenging. It's about this time when suddenly there is a massive hit on the boat, and it actually shakes the boat pretty strongly. So what I'm going to do is move us over to a ship map, and you can feel free to put yourself where you would like on this ship map. Hang on one second. Okay, so hopefully you guys can all see your tokens there.
Yeah.
You can change my token. There you go. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, I noticed the update, and I was like, oh, you put a fresh coat of paint there.
Yeah, I would have been fine with the other one. Just something I created on that tool, so that's all it was.
Hey, Adam, sorry.
It's cool, dude. I like it. Sorry.
I went downstairs. I wanted to be on the towards the front of the boat, up on the upper level.
You could be downstairs. If you don't want to be downstairs, just move down one and back up. It's the teleport script to just bring you right back.
I guess. Can I get up to the upper level? Looks like there's stairs.
You can, yeah. You'll just have to take the outer stairs. So those outer stairs get you up to the upper deck. You'll notice that on both the north and the south side of the ship. And then those inner stairs take you down to the second level.
I should know this. I've been here 4 days.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah. Kurtu is using his ability very similar to Gale's. I'm calling my ability Find Crap. So,
What time of day is it?
It would be late afternoon at this point.
Spectre probably doesn't want to be exposed in the daytime, so I think I'm below deck somewhere. So I just move on. Yeah, that works. I don't know where I am.
You don't know where you are. You're on the lower level of the ship.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I see myself now.
Okay, is everybody good and is essentially where they want to be?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and lock the tokens here. This is when there is a pretty heavy hit to the ship, and you guys feel the whole thing kind of move. And as that occurs, I'm going to ask for everybody to give me your choice of strength or dexterity saving throw. You can make that public.
Dexterity save.
All right, so as this occurs, each of you manages to maintain your footing. Let's see how successful the crew is. Okay, unfortunately, you're going to notice the crew members. The first guy, North, he gets knocked right off the boat with this heavy heft. The second guy takes a step off but manages to maintain his grip right there on that railing. The third guy gets knocked off the boat. Fourth guy gets knocked off the boat, and the captain actually goes tumbling over as well from this massive shock or hit to the ship. And that is going to go ahead and put us into initiative order. As you can imagine, cold water on people is not good. All right, and we'll get everybody in order there.
Those are some dog shit initiative on everybody.
I was just going to say I need to resort it, but I didn't realize that was the top. So. Okay, all right, so this, let's put on a little bit more up-tempo music. Appropriately named Track Crisis.
I would imagine we're going quite slow.
Okay, so as this guy goes overboard, hits into the water, yeah, he is quite cold. So at the start of his turn, okay, he is going to swim, seemingly pretty decent swimmer, being a sailor and all. He manages to grab onto the side of the boat and start to work his way back up. He will then take his action to dash and climb back onto the ship.
I imagine we're going slow.
Going slow, what do you mean?
The ship speed.
Oh, yes, it's going fairly slow because you're moving through the moving ice,
Yeah.
Yep. Second guy, this ice seems to really be getting to him. He will also move forward and try to do the best he can to climb back up, dashing. Okay, next up is Rasmus.
Okay. Did the hit come from this side or this side? Could I tell? It seems like we got hit on this side and it tipped this way, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Rasmus is going to move over towards the edge carefully. Doesn't want to lose his footing either. But can he peer over? Can he see anything in the water?
As you peer over, looking into the water, you notice some very large shapes, I will say, in the water itself. You're able to spot 3 of them somewhat close by to the edge of the boat where you currently are. Looking down through the water, it looks something like this. At about the size of a horse.
Fantastic. Okay, so he is going to shout. He's going to say, well, I guess my next question is, would he recognize these creatures? Is he familiar in any way?
Being from the Feywild and not necessarily having a whole lot of experience in the material plane, I'm going to guess no.
Yeah, no, he ain't got no history either. He's not well read or nothing. He's just a brute fighter. So he'll do what he normally would do. He's going to draw his battle axe off of his back, and he's going to ready himself for an attack. If he sees a creature come within range of a melee attack, one of those fish creatures, he's going to take a swing and he's going to shout out to everybody, fish people attacking the boat. Be ready.
Where?
On this side.
I can't see nothing. You have to describe starboard or the port.
It's the left side of the boat. Hang on, I don't have my macro for intern.
Oh, just for now, you can click the EOT button in chat there. I think that should have gotten moved over. Let me just make sure everybody's got access to it.
Yeah, they're there. I just didn't have them in my bar, so I'm gonna get my defense roll, fumble, injury, all of that good stuff put in there.
Yes, yeah, I forgot. I can copy mine, but I can't copy you guys', unfortunately. So yeah, if it takes a moment, no worries.
And don't forget your crit.
That usually doesn't happen, though.
All right, before Gale's turn, on the side of the boat here, Rasmus, you're going to notice one of these fish guys swims back a little bit, surfaces out of the water, and you can see as he does so, he's holding onto this big harpoon in his hand, and he reaches back and throws it right towards you, Rasmus, and I'll need you to make a defense roll.
Okie dokie, here we go.
Okay, that harpoon smashes into you here, Erasmus. It's going to deal some damage to you. Which will, what? Hang on, that's 2 GM.
Would this be considered, I guess, a deflect missile attack at him?
This is not a missile. Post the exact wording to that, and I'll see if it would apply.
Catch the missile when you're hit by a ranged weapon attack.
So I would say this is not small enough for you to hold in one hand. So he's large size, is a large size object. I would say you can try to deflect it though, because this is a ranged weapon attack. So if you want to use your reaction, so you readied your action to attack, which means if you use this, that would essentially go away because both use your reaction. But if you're willing to use your reaction for this, then you can reduce the damage and see what happens from there.
Sure, let's do that instead. Deflect missiles reaction.
Okay, I think we got that built in for you if I remember correctly.
Yeah, let me throw it in here.
Okay, so you'll reduce the damage by 6. So instead of 14, you'll take 8. However, because you didn't reduce it entirely, that is still going to strike into you for 8 points of damage. And once it does, you notice at the end of this harpoon is a long rope. And essentially as he throws it towards you, he's holding on to the rope of the harpoon. And now he's pulling back against you, trying to pull you into the water. So I will need you to make a strength check against his strength DC.
All right. Here we go. Strength check coming up. Oh my goodness.
Yes, as he strikes and the harpoon actually punctures into your cold weather gear, damages you, he then yanks you forward and you come right against the edge of the boat and plummet over into the water. Okay, next up is Gale.
I'm doing the bill. I'm refreshing my roll 20.
Okay, so we have heard that there's, oh my goodness. So Rasmus is in the water, correct?
He is, yes.
And how far down is that water?
From where you're at right now, I would say it's about 25 feet down. So you're in the elevated part of the ship. If you climb down that stairs, then you'd be like 15 feet above the water.
15 feet. Okay, action, put on my shield.
Okay.
And I will say they're on the left and Rasmus is in the water. I am going to get to there and draw a hand axe and throw it at the creature.
I think you action to equip a shield, right?
Oh, yeah. I can't do 2 action. Well, I can't, but I'm not going to do that now.
Not without saying that magic phrase, anyway.
All right. That's not a good place for me, actually. I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, I got one more. I'm gonna step away a little bit. And sadly, I mean, nope, that's it. Okay, yep. End my turn.
Okay, next up is the captain's turn. We'll see if he is affected by this or not. He is not. So even with that heavy armor on, as he's right next to the ship, he just grabs onto some of the sort of like netting that is hanging on the side, and with a move and a dash, he'll make his way back onto the ship. And then we move to Spectre, who's currently below deck.
All right, well, hearing the commotion, I'm going to draw my bow and come above deck, which is over here. That was 10 feet to get there, 15, 20. You said this is an elevated place up here?
It is, yes.
25, 30. How high is this railing next to me?
It won't interfere with shooting over it. Somebody throwing at you, I would say it really, unless they're coming at a really harsh angle, probably also won't interfere.
Okay. What if I moved back, like, to this space? Does it look like I'd have a worse shot over there?
At this target right at the moment, you'd still be fine.
Okay, I will do that. Nope, I can no longer see it. So that was 25, 30. I got 50 feet of movement because it's the first turn, so whatever. I pop back here, and I will make my 3 Dread Ambusher shots at the one that has Rasmus over there. That is not the thing I wanted to click on. Where am I? There I am. The creature is above water, right? Right now, he is not like submerged. Okay, so I will go ahead and shoot him 3 times. Or try to. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, all 3 of those shots will connect.
Okay, so first hit, 10 plus 4, because I got a guy right next to him.
Sure, yep.
Second shot, just the 8. And third shot, 7 plus the d8 from Dread Ambusher. Go. So another 2.
All right, all 3 arrows strike, punching into the creature and wounding it.
That was 35 to get here. So I will 40, 45, 50. I'm going to try to back up to here. Can I stand on this spot?
Let's see.
Token let me move.
Yeah, I'd say you're good there.
Okay, I go there. Just try to get in a central location here. And then I will use my bonus action to spend a key point on patient defense. I do not want to get yanked into the water.
Okay.
So I don't have you use key macro anymore, I don't see, but so I'll just deduct it for now and we'll fix that later. Oh, no, I don't. Yeah, I do. It's right there.
I think it's built in as an attack for you.
Patient defense starts with a P.
Okay, you used 1 key. Okay, before Kurtu's turn, Rasmus, you're going to notice another one of these creatures on this side surfaces to get closer to you. As it does so, it is going to attack you twice. First, it's going to try to bite you. I'll need a defense roll for that. The bite manages to get through your defenses as you're flailing about in the water here. Oh, ignore that. It's going to be 8 points of piercing damage. And then it is then going to try to stab you with its harpoon. Another defensive roll. That is going to hit as well. For 9 points of piercing damage. Okay, then we move to Kurtu's turn.
Goat boy, you're not gonna be known as Shark Man.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cast Polymorph, and I'm going to try to turn Goat Boy into a giant shark.
Okay, Rasmus, are you resisting that in any way?
No, not hearing Kurtu shout it, and I'm sure he's got some somatic. What is it? Is it verbal? Yeah, yeah. So I'm sure he's putting up a bunch of commotion up there, and Rasmus is like going to whatever Kurtu is going to do. He's just going to go along with it. He's not quite sure, but
Okay, so you should be able to move the shark. Just confirm that you can move the shark. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to put Rasmus over here, and we'll put the shark here-ish. I'm going to put it here. We know the shark is actually under the water at this point, head near the surface.
got it. All right, cool.
I would like to
Kurtu.
haul the shark up onto the boat.
Now there is a shark attacking him too.
Yeah, that's the Goat Boy. That's why I yelled it. All you guys know, Goat Boy is no Shark Man.
Okay.
All right, Adam, and I'm also going to go ahead and quicken spell,
Okay.
and I'm going to cast Firebolt on the wounded one. And also, my apologies for not setting this up ahead of time, but I have the Wand of the War Mage, which is technically a +1. So just to let you know in case that matters for rolling.
Okay. And that's +1 just to hit, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and post yours, and then we'll throw that in real quick. Yeah, that's certainly going to hit. Okay, so I just built in a global attack modifier for you for Wand of the War Mage and checked it. Moving forward, if that doesn't apply, just uncheck it, or we'll get used to ignoring it. But yes, Firebolt flashes out, does indeed strike the creature, and you notice it burns him badly, and he just begins to fall into the water.
All right, and now I am going to go ahead and come over here and grab onto something. And that'll end my turn.
You grab onto the railing, yeah.
Sorry, I don't see the button to end my turn. I'll figure it out, but I don't see it.
Yep, yeah, I'll end it for now. Just go up into your macro section, and you should be able to add it from there. All right, this sailor is going to head down below deck. Okay, and then... All right, Rasmus, you're going to notice as another one of these creatures surfaces. Seeing the shark there, it is going to attack the shark. And let's see, shark, let's see.
Is it going to do my AC, or is it going to do the shark's AC if I defense roll?
There's a separate macro for this. So I'm just going to make sure I've got this shared for you. Okay, so I've shared this with you for now. Let me just add this. There we go. Okay, so as the creature stabs out with, or first bites out, that bite is going to connect against the shark. So shark will take 5 points piercing damage, and then it's going to also try to hit with its harpoon. And that'll hit as well, wounding the shark. Okay, then in the water, we're going to see as another one of these creatures surfaces, and it is going to attack the sailor. The sailor manages to evade the bite, but gets hit by the harpoon. And wounded badly. Another one of these creatures is going to surface nearby the sailor. Once again, dodges the bite, but gets struck by that harpoon. And that sailor, unfortunately, is slain. And he did not get a turn. All right, move to the top. This sailor's also going to make his way down below deck. This one will do the same. Okay, Rasmus, in that cold, frigid water, as you start your turn, I'll need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Even though he's a shark now?
Yeah, I guess that probably wouldn't make a whole lot of
Shark might
sense.
be adapted to.
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes more sense because otherwise sharks would die here real easily.
Well, it depends what kind of shark it is, technically. So if it's a hammerhead, then
That's true. Did you turn it into a summer water shark or a cold water shark, or two?
Oh
Sounds like
shoot!
a
I
great
turned
white
him
to
into
me,
a
and great white's
Florida.
cool.
I turned him into one that loves the Florida weather.
Great whites go everywhere. If that's a great white, then great whites are fine.
We'll call this an ice flow shark. So yeah, we'll say it's adapted. So Rasmus, you can take your turn as the shark.
All right. Rasmus, as a shark, is figuring it all out. He kind of swims in like a circle, and like shark smiles at this creature, and then he's gonna charge after him and take a bite, hopefully successfully hitting him.
Let's see. Yes, that will indeed hit. Wounding the creature badly.
Shit.
I don't think I get multiple bites or anything, so that's his turn.
Nope, no multiple bites on the shark. All right, this guy is slain, so we'll remove him, and we
Hey,
move to Gale's turn.
okay.
Adam, if I could say, just as far as your shark goes, you do get advantage on any wounded one now.
Yeah, I saw that blood frenzy,
Yeah.
but
okay.
thank you.
All right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm assuming that I'm not getting opportunity attacks as it's in the water.
Correct.
All right. Can I access this bow-looking thing, being a martial guy?
It looks like it's currently set to be aiming to the southwest. You would look at it and realize you're going to need to spend a turn to reposition it.
Okay. I would reposition it to the port side of the boat here as I'm in the aft section, I think.
So essentially you're pointing it northwest.
Yep. I'm right there, these guys. Do you think I can hit it? I'm sure that's why it's there, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll spend my turn doing that.
All right, so you move it in that direction, aiming towards the creatures. Yes, you notice the captain seemingly likes your idea. He will go to this one and do the same as he turns it. Spectre.
Okay. I can still. Can I see this one? I think I have vision of the shark's vision, so I don't know what I can see and what I can't see.
So you're technically behind a railing right at the moment. So
Uh-huh.
this one's a little bit challenging because this is a railing meant to block your ability to see from here to here. So technically you can see over this. But remember, he's down next to the ship in the water.
Yeah.
So I would say from here, you would have a hard time seeing him.
Okay, so I will move 5, 10. Can I see him now?
Yes.
Okay, so I will bonus action Hunter's Mark on the wounded one. Because I remember that I actually have spells on this character for once. And so we'll do that, and then I will make my 2 attacks. As soon as I tab over to the right page. Longbow 1, longbow 2.
Longbow 1 will miss, however, the second one will hit.
So 5 plus, I guess, 1 for the sneak attack, assuming I recognize the shark as an ally.
As long as he's there, it's distracting the opponent enough to hit him. Yep.
Okay, so plus the Hunter's Mark. Do you want me to re-roll it, or do you want to take that 5?
I took the 5.
Okay. So that is my 2 attacks. I move 10 feet, so I will go 15, 20, 25, 30, and just duck below deck. Am I on top of a crewman, or do they get out of the way?
They are out of the way.
Okay, then I will chill here, and I will pop back up next turn.
All right, the wounded one is going to disengage and swim underneath the boat. Kurtu.
Hearing somebody scream on the other side, wondering if maybe he may be able to turn someone else into a shark too. He comes over here. Oh no, there's 2 bad fishermen. So
Oh yes, I get to do it. I love it.
All right, go ahead and use this. Actually, I don't think you need to on that one since we know who it's hitting. Or yeah, feel free to do it. Yeah, go ahead. It'll
Go
automatically
ahead and blow
apply.
up the ship for us.
Yeah, I was kind of curious to see exactly where he's going to put it, but
Set the wooden ship on fire.
You
That
never
seems
know.
all right,
fair.
I can't move it. It clicked right, but anyway, it'll go off screen, Adam, so you know where I'm going. Yeah, okay. Yep, looks good.
all right, feel free. Can you click the token and do trigger all?
I see set savings.
All right, for now, I'll just do this for you. We'll make sure we've got this all ready for next time. Okay, or actually, one of them succeeded, one of them failed. Both are wounded by the exploding fireball.
All right, then I'm gonna come back over here to my favorite. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll do another sorcery point. And Adam, the one closest to me is the one I'm going to go ahead and firebolt.
Okay. That'll certainly hit. All right, scorches him, wounding him badly.
My favorite holding position right here, and I'll end my turn.
Okay, guy below deck, he's safe for now. I'm going to remove him from initiative. All right, this guy is not injured. He is going to strike out at the shark. 2 defensive rolls, shark. Both of those will manage to connect for a total of 25 points of damage to our shark. This guy's badly hurt. He is also going to swim down. This guy's somewhat hurt. He's going to swim to here, and yeah, he's going to swim down as well. Okay, this guy's out of immediate danger. Rasmus the shark.
Okay, if Rasmus dips his head underwater, he's got a swim speed. Are those treated? Are they out of his range? His swim speed is 50.
They have essentially swum down at pretty far distances, so they would be out of your 50-foot range at the point. You could dash to get to them.
Okay, no, there's one within range now, so he'll just take a big bite at this one that's in front of us.
Okay. Yeah, that'll hit. Biting into the creature and wounding it. Okay, Gale.
All right, let's take a shot at it with this crossbow thingy.
All right, so roll me just a d20.
Oof.
That, unfortunately, is going to miss.
D20, not D2, buddy.
So as you fire the shot off, yes, you hear that loud thumbing sound as it fires off with tremendous force, but it just hits the water, not striking into the creature. All right, the captain has no targets on his side now either, so he will just kind of keep it manned as we move to Spectre.
Up the stairs. Should I just like move my token off the teleporter and back on, and we'll say it's 5 feet?
Yeah, you can do that.
There we go. Do I have a clear shot from this space? 15?
Yes.
Or 10? Yeah, okay. So I'm not able to move Hunter's Mark unless my target is dead, right?
I do not know. I think that's right.
Let me find out real quick. Oh, come on. There it goes.
If the
If the
target,
target drops
yeah.
to 0 before the spell ends, you can use a bonus. Okay, so I cannot do that. So I will just make my 2 shots at the one that I can see, and hope it's enough. Bow 1, bow 2.
Those will both hit.
So 10 plus 7.
All right, he is wounded by that shot.
Back downstairs.
Okay, Kurtu.
Go get him, Shark Boy.
Adam, I'm going to go ahead and attack at just one shot at this guy. At least one shot for now, right? So
That will hit. All right, and that is enough to slay this one as well, as he takes fire to the face and just falls and sort of just begins to descend through the water. All right, the other 2 creatures have moved away. They're going to get a turn before Rasmus to get even further away. So Rasmus, unless you're wanting to try to chase them and outdistance your party by quite a bit, I think we can end combat here.
Yeah, no, Rasmus is not going to do that. He's already gotten lost once pretty recently, so he's just going to circle back around and wait until Kurtu drops it and climb up the side.
Kurtu's not going to drop it right away. He's going to say,
You're making perfect. You're making it. You're our security guard. Let's just keep you there for an hour.
I don't know what noises sharks make.
Yeah, I know all the noises shark makes, and that meant yes, that sounds like a great idea. Mm-hmm. Follow the boat.
All right, you notice the captain goes to the edge hesitantly as he looks over, and you see him eyeing, and he just kind of shakes his head back and forth, and he looks back over towards you, Gale, once again keeping his head low. Being that you've been here during this combat, he couldn't completely obscure his presence from you, but you get a better look at him. And as he has this sort of leather hood that covers up on his head, he looks back down as he's nearby you, and he says, Marrow, that's quite strange. I haven't seen Marrow in some time.
Well, I've never seen them, but they are why. Anyway, your friend is in the water. I can bring him up if he's important to you, Captain.
So even though he's there as a token, once he
Okay.
got killed, yeah, you would not be seeing him.
Meryl, what about these Meryls that is so exciting?
And you see he shakes his head back and forth. They don't usually attack like this. It's kind of strange.
What did they usually do?
Usually keep their distance, to be honest. For some reason they're agitated, maybe. I don't know. Seems like a hit and run kind of attack.
Well, I'm sorry that you lost your friend. Shall we just keep going, or am I supposed to know anything about this strange world? I don't know anything about Meryl's.
Well, it depends on who you ask. They say that merfolk, kind of people with fishtails, some kind of thing happens and it turns them into these monsters. So if that's the case, I don't know. In this area, we don't really see these many often. When we do, it's like 1 or 2, and they, like I said, they keep their distance. There might be more around here. We just never see them because they just always keep their distance. But, well, yes, it is unfortunate one of the men lost his life to this. But hate to be the half cup kind of guy, but based on the force that struck, I'm kind of surprised we all made it back besides old Tim there.
Well, do you think the Meryls are being instructed to behave in a very destructive way?
You see, he kind of turns back and looks at you, raises his head a little bit. I don't know. Who would instruct Marrow?
The King Merrill? Are they like? Never mind. I'm gonna ask stupid questions.
Yeah, I'm not a scholar or an academic. I can only tell you what I've seen based on my time out here.
Well, it's very strange.
You notice he kind of gets closer to this edge of the boat, looks over, seeing the shark. You see, he looks back towards you, Kurtu, as he obviously heard you saying "Shark Boy," and I'm going to keep you there for an hour and stuff. And as he kind of looks at you, towards you, Kurtu, keeping his head still kind of low, he says, "It's a pretty handy trick there. How long does that last?" You said like an hour.
Yeah, and I know that he probably would rather be up on here, but let's be honest, I don't know what's going to happen in the next few minutes, and maybe having a guard may be helpful. But I feel bad for your, your crew member. So sorry we weren't able to save him.
Yes, it's unfortunate that he lost his life. His family will be compensated and funeral costs taken care of course. But everybody knows the risks when they sign up for this kind of thing. It's hard to say. I think that just kind of came out of nowhere. Maybe with your shark friend now, if anything's down below, he'd be able to look around and see what he can see.
Yeah, I will tell him that, hey, Shark Boy, keep up the vigilance. Okay, yeah, he knows. Mm-hmm. He's pretty obedient for a Shark Boy, and I start to snicker.
Sorry, guys, making myself laugh here. So,
You notice the captain sort of just nods. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, we'll just keep going and just keep your eyes open.
I definitely will. They didn't seem to like fire either, so, in case you want to pass it on to your crew, in case something else happens, they didn't seem to like it.
Keeping his head low still, he says, we try not to have too much with fire here near the ship, obviously, but I'll let them know.
Fire's the best, but I understand.
Did we go below and search for signs of damage? They hit us pretty hard.
You notice the captain is sort of making his way down when you say that, and he nods. I'll check on the crew and I'll take a look.
I will not do that. I will stay on top of the deck and man this one catapult bow thing.
Ballista.
I'm just gonna swim back and forth around the boat, under the boat, just make sure nothing is attacking us.
Okay, yeah, it's about, say, 5 minutes later when the captain does indeed return. As he comes back out, you notice he takes back this spot and looking around at you all, he shakes his head and says, You are right, lady. There is some damage to the bottom of the ship. We've got a leak. We're going to need to haul her up on one of the ice floes so we can do some repair work. We don't have too much time before it's going to be really seriously flooding, so let's just pick one and get this out of the way.
Agreed. We don't want to drown on our way to the destination.
All right, and you see him once again sort of wrangling the crew, and there is indeed an ice floe all around you. He finds one that looks big enough and directs the crew to get there through using the oars. They may manage to get the vessel closer and closer, and similar to before, once they get close enough, they get right next to it, and then sort of a heave-ho kind of thing. With one person down, you do notice the captain actually steps in and sort of takes his spot. They lift the vessel up and have it right on one of these ice floes. And you notice the captain looks towards you and says, it's probably going to take maybe a couple hours. There's not anywhere you can really go here, but just keep your eyes peeled.
You got it. So how much, ice on either side of the ship do we have? Are we just, teetering on a small one, or is it big enough to walk around?
There is some room to walk. So giving you some quick dimensions, I would say the ship itself covers almost the entire left side of the ice floe, But once you step away from the ship, you've got maybe like 80 feet that you can walk east of it. So it's a pretty good sized chunk.
Okay. Just testing the we've all disembarked, right? We had to get the ship on the
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Just like testing our footing here. Does it feel like snowshoes would help any, or are we uh on just like solid ice?
So it looks basically like this. So we'll get you guys all on there so you can see what you see. As far as snowshoes, it is, yeah, you think they would help. There's always the chance without them you might slip at this point.
Okay, I'll put snowshoes on while we're disembarked.
Same.
Is the boat to
Yep.
our left?
It is, yeah. I'm going to throw a quick icon on here just so we know where this is at. This is going to be a rough approximation, but it's basically like that. All right, and yes, essentially the crew is inside. You can hear them all, below deck working, and there you can hear like pounding. You can hear people like shouting back and forth, that sort of thing.
Right, Rasmus?
Yeah, I'm fine. Got stabbed a couple times. Wasn't really expecting to be yanked overboard, but now I know how they fight.
And yeah,
Fighting up.
technically, you don't have to be out of your shark form if you didn't want to be. I just threw you on so you'd have vision. Do you still want to be a shark in the water, or do you want to have that have dropped?
No, I'd rather it have dropped, especially if everybody else is up here.
Okay, so then we will assume while you guys were disembarking, noticing what was going on, Kurtu would obviously stop concentrating, and you would quickly get out of the water. The water is very frigid, but you sort of timed it well enough that you're right at the edge and can kind of get in. You realize that the cold of the water could pretty quickly sap your strength, and even your clothes right now, because you were in the cold water before you got turned into the shark, are pretty damp and cold. So you may want to do something to try to warm yourself up.
Hmm.
What do you should? Can we go into the boat and then you can take your clothes off?
I don't want to be on it while they're working on it. I can just, maybe light a torch and near my wet clothes for a while or something. I don't know. Kurtu, do you have anything that can help?
I've already used my fireball spell, but I mean, I think we should just light a torch or something and just, wave that with your clothes and it'll eventually dry off.
I will help you. I will hold the torch.
Hey, Adam, I don't know if this would help at all, but prestidigitation, if I can pronounce it correctly, does that at all?
I think that says something about taking the water out.
I think you can like unsoil something.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering. That part.
It
of
says
it.
you can chill warm.
Warm. Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that will help. You probably have to do a couple of different castings of this, and I imagine sort of like you're casting this and you're noticing like ice crystals and stuff crunch, turn into like a liquid as they kind of drain out of the cloth of the cold weather gear that Rasmus is wearing. So after say 3, 4, 5 castings of this, and keep hitting it in different areas, yeah, it seems like that is effectively dealt with the cold clothing.
The least I could do to our fish guy. Yeah. And thank you for volunteering.
That's cool. It will come in handy if any of us go overboard, which I recommend no one else do.
I get the sinking sensation that it might be a frequent occurrence while we're out here.
Oh, I see
Is
what
that-
you did there.
Did you?
So it's a pun, right? I've heard of those. So what do we just hang out and wait until they finish?
Well, we might as well look around and see if we can see the iceberg cathedral.
Yeah,
Or
surely it'll be
shipwreck.
just around the next bend.
Well,
we should be more optimistic. Today is going to be a great day. I bet we might get lucky.
I'm gonna rely on you for that. It's not my strong suit.
Okay, you're still going to have a great day. Don't worry.
Every day is a great day with you guys.
So what can we see, Adam? Can we look around from where we're at?
You can, yeah. So imagine yourself sitting on this big chunk of ice, and everywhere you look is either very cold looking water or other chunks of ice. So think of it as like this one maybe moves and kind of pops into this one and then starts shifting over this way. This, it's kind of always moving at a very slow pace, but these chunks of ice are just sort of drifting to and fro through these frozen waters.
Hey, Kurtu, can you make a bird?
I can. I mean, I can turn you into a bird. I don't have much of that, that level of magic just left. I could. Is it important?
Well, we're looking for a specific thing, and we are hampered because we are on down low.
Yeah, but I mean, do you want to wait on that just a little bit? The ship still needs to be fixed too. I
We
mean,
could be many miles from anything of importance. We should save our magic. I don't think this qualifies as a place of safety.
I'm gonna Misty step 30 feet in the air and look around real quick, and then Misty and then fall.
Oh, didn't
I
see
do-
anything. Let me try it again. Oh, didn't see anything. Let me try it again.
Yeah, kind of like on the cartoons when you're falling and just step off the thing so you don't have the, you know.
I do think it's a great idea, but I could, instead of turning somebody into a bird, I could just let you fly.
Well, that would be useful here, or levitate or something.
I really don't think this is a good idea.
I don't think this is a good timing for it just yet, but let's hold on to
Wait,
that
no,
thought.
it's the perfect timing, because once they fix the ship, then we will know which direction to go to. We are doing nothing now except, as Leroy would say, sitting on our thumbs.
Adam, I'll ask the ship how much longer till they. How much longer? How much longer? You know.
The ship does not respond to you, but the captain comes out shortly
yeah.
thereafter, and he will tell you that they're running into some issues. It looks like it's going to take longer than they're thinking, as it seems as though the way this was damaged was more impactful than at first thought.
How many ice flows are around? Does it look like we could just like
Hundreds.
jump to each one? Or
Not easily. Like you would have to jump to one, wait for it to get close to another one, and then jump again. You don't. I mean, you think that would be very haphazard if you were to choose to do that.
okay. I'm just trying to think of ways we can do this without spending high level
Yeah.
magic.
No, it's a good
Yeah.
question for sure.
And can Rasmus post up and try to get a short rest going at him? Since he took a few hits
Absolutely.
that last round.
Yeah, certainly can do that. So you basically begin a short rest. Is there anything anybody wanted to do during this time?
I wanted to fly, but I guess I will wait.
Let's wait until the ship's about fixed.
All right.
Well,
So
that's true.
we will pass 1 hour then as you guys are waiting here. Short rest will complete for Rasmus. Is anybody else wanting to take a short rest at this point?
Oh, not it.
Okay, fair enough. So Rasmus sets his HP to max based on our house rule, removes one of his short rests from the display there. And yeah, after this hour passes, I would like all of you guys to give me blind checks. Okay, yeah, nobody sees anything out of the ordinary during this time. You guys spend this hour just relaxing. Again, it is fairly cold here. Being somewhat close to the boat kind of kills the wind from one direction anyway. So as you're huddled up, or at least in that area, general vicinity, it seemingly is not too bad. But another hour passes as you're just kind of waiting here. You're hearing again the sounds of repairs inside, and you're hearing people like kind of shouting from inside angrily every now and again, like just men at work essentially. But you notice that the sun in the sky is beginning to dim as the sun goes down and the temperature is dropping.
So we didn't have any issues with keeping warm on the ship, right, Adam?
No, you guys split your time between above deck and below deck. With your cold weather gear, you're mostly protected. Now, obviously, if you're out here for a very long time, that might change. But as long as you keep that cold weather gear on, you're for the most part protected.
Because otherwise, I would have to ask the captain that we need to go inside to shelter inside ship.
Might be difficult. We might be in the way, but we should ask him if he thinks repairs are going to be ready in time to go farther, or if we need to set up camp maybe on this ice floe even, and resume our search in the morning. I don't know if it makes much sense to travel through the night.
So, Captain, how much longer? It's getting dark, and I'm sure your people need to rest, and we should take shelter inside ship.
He looks over towards you again, keeping his head down low as he usually does. I'm sorry, this is taking longer than I thought it would at first. There seems to be a bit of a disagreement between the crew about the best way to fix this, and well, it's been a little bit of a spat. So it might still be a little bit of time. You could come in if necessary. Just stay out of the guy's way. But we're kind of hoping to keep some eyes out here if needed because, well, we don't know what's around here.
Oh, well, I'll be happy to do that. I don't not have to sleep much.
We have fur tents. We can post watches out here. And we bought these tents specifically for this kind of thing, so.
You know what'd be great is putting a tent inside the boat, and then we get both.
Yeah, great idea, Kertu.
Oh, I come up with them all the time.
What do you think, Captain? Are we spending the night here?
He looks back towards the boat, looks back towards you. Well, when nighttime comes, it's always good to have a decision in place. What we're doing right now is sometimes the best way to wait out the night. So even if we get this fixed in the next hour or two, we probably don't have much in the way of light left. So it might be smarter to just wait here until the morning.
Oh. Yeah, good idea.
Sounds good. I will take first watch for the entire 4 hours.
I'll start setting up the fur-lined tents. They should keep us relatively warm, right?
They will, yes.
Super.
I'll start pitching one of the tents as well. I guess whichever one Spectre is not doing, I'll start on the other one.
Somewhere in the middle of the iceberg, so we're not, like, something doesn't come out of the water and just drag us in immediately.
Is there sufficient?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll call two-person tents, probably only this big, to be honest with you. So 2 people can fit in there pretty easily. So we'll do one there, and then I'll create one more.
Is the crew sleeping in, or are they going to stay on the boat?
They seem to be huddled inside, yes.
They just
I'm
want
going
us to keep a
inside,
lookout.
too. Yeah, I'm going to stay inside the boat in case the ice out here breaks. Not trying to say it could happen, but I've been there, done that. And then that way, if it breaks, then I'm in a boat.
A boat with a hole in it.
But Kurtu, we are charged with the protection of the workers in case something was to sneak up on attack at night.
Yeah, just now make me feel guilty for
I mean, that's why we're putting tents in the middle of an iceberg rather than close to the
Okay. I just was thinking safety, but no, that's okay. I get that.
All right, the captain, noticing you guys make arrangements, will make his way back into the boat. All right, and yes, another hour passes by. The sun continues getting further down below. As it does, the light is descending in the sky, and all you have to hear is the sound of cracking ice all around you as the ice floes hit against one another every now and again, and it's just this sort of clinking sound over and over. Eventually, it is full on dark.
But the
Rasmus.
stars are amazing up there.
Yes, they are, absolutely. So I know the three of you guys can see in the dark. Rasmus, do you also see in the dark? I don't
No.
think satyrs do. Okay, so what are you doing for light, or are you in one of the tents?
I would say if we've like established that Gail's going to do first watch, then Rasmus would have already crawled in and begun to pass out and go to sleep.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
he'd probably just be sleeping at this point. So no light source, just dark. But he probably has like, I would say he's smart, so he has like a torch and a tinderbox like below his little bedroll or beside his bedroll, so when he wakes up he can light it.
Okay, so I heard Gail's taking first watch. Kurtu, Spectre, are you guys both sleeping during this time?
I would have to, right?
Unless you're willing to risk exhaustion.
Yeah, no thanks.
All right.
And I'm gonna trance, of course.
But,
Well, not
but
right
not
now,
doing the
but
fur.
yeah.
You're right, not during the 4 hour.
Yeah, right.
I would
All
like
right.
to watch while asleep.
so Kurtu and Spectre, feel free to put yourself in one of the tents if that's what you're doing. So Spectre's in one. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, so as you're on watch here, Gail, keeping your eyes open, looking around, seeing what you can see, I would like you to give me a blind check here. Okay, and you don't see the creatures creeping up on you as they get closer and closer. But as we are at the end of this session, we'll see that the results of that are next week, guys. So hope everybody enjoyed this first session of our Rise of Tiamat campaign. And yes, we will see what happens next week. Great session, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you all next week.
That went by
Take it
fast.
easy, everybody. Yeah, it did. It rolled
really
right by,
did,
didn't
yeah.
it?
Have a good night. Thanks.
Night, everyone.